Oil spill by BP has left eyeballs all over the sea. So don't go swimming down in the south unless you want tar balls in your mouth. Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Don't swim in the ocean, you'll get balls in your mouth. Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Don't swim in the ocean, you'll get balls in your mouth. Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Don't swim in the ocean, you'll get balls in your mouth. Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Swim in the ocean, you'll have balls in your mouth. Go ahead! Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Don't swim in the ocean, you'll get balls in your mouth. Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Don't swim in the ocean, you'll get balls in your mouth. Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Don't swim in the ocean, you'll get balls in your mouth. Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Don't swim in the ocean, you'll get balls in your mouth. Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Don't swim in the ocean, you'll get balls in your mouth. Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Don't swim in the ocean, you'll get balls in your
What's up? Boochcast fans, listeners across the internet, radio waves. This is Vinny Bucci, aka the Booch, and this is that time again, once again, yet again for the Boochcast. What's up, everybody? It is Wednesday, September the 7th, 2016. It is high noon on Hump Day. That's right. It's a special day of the week where the Booch is saying, make sure you are humping the one you love on this special day. And you notice the title of today's show today is called Impact Live. Now, Impact Live for this is because I know I mentioned some things at the end of the show yesterday that I would be discussing. Well, I decided the last minute after I went off the air to flip some things around. For example, today on the Boochcast, there will be no season 3 of the Magic School Bus. I'm not doing that today. I decided to move that over to Friday. Now, the reason I decided to move it to Friday is because Desmond mentioned on Labor Day when he called in, because he had the day off. He didn't talk for very long, though. He said to me that he may not be working. I mean, he may not be on the Boochcast on Friday because he may have to work due to the fact that they were off for Labor Day. So if Desmond is in fact working on Friday, then obviously he will not be here. And if he's not here, then I got no problem doing season 3 of the Magic School Bus on that day, because then I'll be able to fill up the gap, because I still have a lot of makeup catch-up time to do, which is why the show ran really long yesterday, because I had to recap both NXT and Monday Night Raw, and I had a caller yesterday, but it was a caller I'd never spoken to before, so I gave him the leeway. And I'd like to open the show today by saying the same thing in terms of callers. Today, I have 2 major things I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to be recapping last week's TNA Impact Wrestling, from last week, from Thursday, which took place while I was in Las Vegas. And I'm also going to be recapping this week's Smackdown Live, which took place yesterday, because Smackdown Live last week was recapped by Desmond when he did his show on Friday. Last Friday. He did Desmond ran the show by himself, and he did a recap of Smackdown Live. And I had him recap Smackdown Live because I knew Desmond would put more of his heart and soul into Smackdown Live than I would doing TNA. Than he would doing TNA. Because, as I said before, Desmond doesn't really follow TNA. So the only time I ever really have Desmond watch TNA anymore is if he's live in the studio with me. Then I'll put the matches on and have him critique the matches as they're ongoing to make the show a little more easier for him. Because he just simply does not watch TNA. I keep trying to get him to watch TNA, but he just doesn't seem to give a shit. Which does irritate me a little bit. I'm not going to lie. It does kind of piss me off a little bit that he doesn't take the effort to at least watch TNA. Which is why I throw in wrestling articles as well, so he can at least contribute in some way. And then when I go for the TNA recap, that's when he leaves the show. And that is something that if he and I are face-to-face again, I'm going to have a chat with him about, because I'm not thrilled that he's not making an effort to watch TNA. But I know that he doesn't, so I try to adapt that for the fans. So that's why I had him recap SmackDown Live, and I was going to take care of everything else. So I'm recapping. So this TNA recap that I'm doing is for last week, and obviously on Friday, I'll be recapping this week's TNA as well, in addition to Season 3 of the Magic School Bus, assuming that Desmond will not be here. And if he's not there, then on Friday, I will do Season 3 of the Magic School Bus and then TNA Impact Wrestling from this week. And I'm going to do last night's SmackDown Live as well. So that's on the agenda for today. I'm saving Magic School Bus for Friday, and I plan on talking to Zach in the next couple days because I plan on having him be on the Boochcast Monday so we can talk about the first season of Arrow as well as Backlash, which takes place this Sunday. So, and we may even talk about CM Punk in the US in his match against Mickey Gall, which also takes place this coming Saturday. Because Zach and I plan to see both those events. We plan to go to the Hooters this Saturday to see Punk versus Mickey Gall. And Sunday, we plan on going to Frank's to watch Backlash. And I may be inviting some other friends out there as well. And, you know, like I said, unfortunately, this is what we have to do until we can find a new venue for watch parties. But that's going to be that's not going to be easy, folks. It's going to be tough to find a place like that to have us do that. It will not be easy at all. But it's going to take a little bit of time, but we're going to figure something out. It's taking longer than we expected, but that's because Elvis has a lot of personal stuff going on in his life with his daughter and the baby mama. And I just, and you know me, guys, I've been all over the place with the projects I've been doing with Adult Swim and, you know, the stand-up and going to Vegas. It's Elvis and I are kind of focusing on our own lives right now, but we're going to get it back on track. But that's not going to stop us from recapping the show on the Boochcast. That's not going to stop us from doing at least that. And so that's basically what's on the agenda for today. And I definitely look forward to doing a lot more in the coming weeks. Right now, I'm in the process of trying to book 2 guests at this point in time. These are not set in stone, so do not quote me on this, but this is what I'm in the process of making happen. The first guest I'm trying to book is my good friend, Lance Goodman. You guys know him as the NFL Exporter now. The longtime Boochcast guests, you know who he is. Those of you that are brand new, I will explain. 2 years ago, through my good friend Derek Shapiro, I met a gentleman by the name of Lance Goodman. Didn't meet him in person. We interviewed him on the show because he lives in California. He lives in LA. And he is called the NFL Exporter. Basically, what that means is he does NFL football-related shows on the Booch on Blog Talk Radio. I almost said Boochcast. I meant Blog Talk Radio. He does fantasy football. He talks football stats. He has fantasy league teams he puts together. He pretty much has his own NFL Exporter business. He basically breaks down football the way I break down wrestling. Like, people call me a pro wrestling expert. Well, Lance Goodman is an NFL expert. He breaks it down in the best ways possible. And what I do is I bring Lance Goodman on the show 4 times a year. He gets 4 spots a year. Mostly because, I have so much going on a daily basis that to bring him on every week for football stats would, A, take up a lot of wrestling time, and B, would I think it would diminish Lance Goodman and his talent. So I bring him on. The first time I try to bring him on is after the preseason, before the start of the football season. And tomorrow officially kicks off the NFL season, 2016-2017 NFL season. The games officially start tomorrow. So football season is now upon us. So I want to bring Lance Goodman on to talk about, and we usually talk about the draft and the preseason and the Colin Kaepernick controversy and things like that. Basically major things going on in the NFL right now. I try to find the most major events, and I try to get Lance Goodman's thoughts on them because I think he puts them into perspective for me better than other people. And I think he's a better – if you're a fan of football, Lance Goodman is a guy you want to talk to. He's a guy you want to listen to. And it's something new that I can bring to the table every now and then because, most pro wrestling fans are also football fans. So it's something interesting I can bring to the table. So that's usually the first time I bring him on. I bring him on before the regular season. The second time I bring him on is after the regular season is over. The third time is after the playoffs. And I'm talking the divisional games, the NFC and the AFC championship games. Once those games end, I bring Lance Goodman back on for a third time, talk about the playoffs. And then the fourth time I bring him on is after the Super Bowl, talk about the Super Bowl. And then we talk about what went down in the Super Bowl, what happened, what were the mistakes, as well as other NFL questions and news things that come out. And we have a lot of fun. And Lance Goodman is a big supporter of the Boochcast. And he's a very good friend. I love having him on the show. We always have great interviews. He always has something compelling to bring to the table. Lance is a tremendous talent. And I sent a message out to Lance earlier this week. I'm waiting to hear back from him. I'm probably going to follow up with him today. And my goal is tomorrow, live on the Boochcast, I'm going to have Lance Goodman on the show. Now, in addition to Lance Goodman being on the show, I'm also going to be doing a recap of tonight's Cruiserweight Classic, of tonight's NXT, as well as the return of Lucha Underground, which I am so excited about. Tonight kicks off Season 3 of Lucha Underground. And rest assured, I'll be talking about all 3 of those shows in addition to chatting with Lance Goodman. Whether I do them before Lance calls in or after Lance calls in, I don't know. All I know is we are going to have tomorrow's going to be a fun show. Now, the second interview I'm trying to get is with WWE Hall of Famer Jake the Snake Roberts. Now, tomorrow night, Jake the Snake Roberts will be back in Atlanta, and he'll be performing at the Village Theater, where he'll be doing stand-up comedy as well as telling stories from the road. And I believe there will also be a Q&A session where he'll be taking questions from the fans. But he's doing a spoken word tour, similar to what, Mick Foley has done and It's similar to Mick Foley, and Jake the Snake is currently doing it. He's having a blast. And my goal is at some point tomorrow after the show, and by after the show, I mean hopefully after his performance, but not live on the Boochcast. This will be taped and aired at a later date. But my goal is to hopefully get Jake the Snake Roberts on the show. I reached out to my good friend Joe Pettis to see if he'll check and see if Jake is down to do an interview. If he is, then I will interview Jake, and I will get that interview, and I will play it at a later date here on the Boochcast. Sometime next week. I think maybe next Wednesday I might play the Boochcast. I might air the interview with Jake the Snake Roberts if it does happen. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, then I guess I'll have to figure out another way to get Jake on the Boochcast maybe sometime down the road. But maybe it'll give me time to better plan out what I want to say to him. But either way, it's going to be a great experience. I definitely look forward to hopefully getting Lance Goodman and Jake the Snake Roberts on the show this week. I know if Lance can't do it on Thursday, we'll try to reschedule it for another day. But Lance these are two amazing guests that I hope to get on the show and interview because they're tremendous talents. And of course, I have other interviews coming down around the track in the future, but right now, those are the two I'm the most focused on. All right, and on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I see where we're at in time now. I believe that's enough rambling from me. We are now going to commence. We're going to start off with TNA. We're going to do the TNA wrestling recap first. Since TNA was last week, I believe it is only fair that we start with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set these up. And let me check. The show opens up with a interesting music video of sorts. We're at the Hardy compound, and Rebby Sky is playing the piano. And basically what they're doing is they're singing the theme song to Brother Nero. So, ladies and gentlemen, for your listening pleasure, the Broken Hardy family singing Ob So Leet.
Your mastery of the 88 keys of armory is absolutely intoxicating. Please, King Maxwell, take it away. Maxwell, your music just created a very powerful premonition. The very first battle of the Great War will not take place at the zone of impact. It will take place here at the Hardy compound, the sacred land of Bucci. And it all begins with an intruder who trespasses upon our property. Brother Nero, we must go to the zone of impact now. Senior Benjamin, Vanguard 1, my broken brilliance and Brother Nero are required to go to the zone of impact today. I need you to stay back. I need you in Vanguard 1 to protect the grounds. And even more paramount, I need you to protect King Maxwell and Rebecca with your lives. Yes, Mr. Hardy.
Matt, I think we'll be all right.
Let me tell you, just when we think This can't get any more fucked up. It does. That is why I love this. I love this. I'm sorry. This is too great. It's too great. Especially, I will give credit. Maxwell being able, hold on a second. Sorry, I had something caught in my throat. There. Jesus. But anyway, Maxwell was amazing doing that. Just the whole, on the little piano key, actually being able to do, I fade away and classify myself as obsolete. Obsolete. Like, it's great. I love this. It's so funny. It's so entertaining. And these guys are getting all the mic time in the world, and they need it. It's great. Brother Nero, I have a powerful premonition. I love this shit. Oh my God. I'll tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this right now. If I was still working at the regular guy show and I needed to come up with a wrestling costume for the Spooktacular, I would be going as Broken Matt. I would get a Sweeney Todd costume. I would be Broken Matt, and I would just freaking use this all day long. I'm telling you, it is the funniest thing in the world to me. It is. I love it. It's amazing. So he says his powerful premonition, and he says that the first battle will take place at the Hardy compound, the sacred land of deletion. So it looks like they're hinting at the fact that we're going to see a match between Decay and the Hardys and the Broken Hardys at the Hardy compound, similar to when Matt and Jeff fought in the final deletion. Because it turns out they're going to be making a sequel to the final deletion, and apparently it's going to be called Delete or Decay. So they're now heading to the Zone of Impact. Rebby's got a sheet head cutlass, which is pretty much a sword. And, Senor Benjamin's got a fucking shovel. This is great. I look forward to seeing what happens next. This is like the funnest show on the planet. Then we head back to the Zone of Impact. And the Miracle Mike Bennett is heading to the ring. And as Ben and Maria make the walk, they replay the end of the Battle Royal last week where Bennett tossed Moose over the top rope as Moose was dealing with Eddie Edwards. And Josh Matthews basically says Mike Bennett should be looking over his shoulder because Moose is pretty goddamn pissed. And then the Bennetts get in the ring, grab the mic, and here's what the Miracle has to say about winning the Battle Royal and facing Bobby Lashley for the world title.
For the last year, I have been asking each and every one of you, do you believe? And the answer has always been, yes, we do. And you know why each and every one of you say, yes, we do? It's because you believe in the miracle. You believe in the miracle movement. The miracle movement was here to save TNA. And tonight, I complete that mission when I become TNA World Heavyweight Champion. And it's real simple. I'm going to become world champion because I am the best damn pro wrestler on the planet. And because I surround myself with successful Case in point, my beautiful wife, Maria Kanellis Bennett. And also, the most destructive force in professional wrestling, Moose. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Where is Moose? Well, that's a good question. So, Moose, I know what's going on. It's Bobby Lashley. He's trying to drive this rift between us. So, Moose, I need you to come on down here and tell everyone the truth. So come on down, Moose. Let's set the record straight right now. This is Moose. This is the world champion. The unstoppable juggernaut of force. Human kryptonite. The man who defends his title against the Miracle later. Lashley. I have no need for sure, man. Take that move like a race car. Now come out here to let its tread be felt. Yeah, but what is to say about the relationship between the Miracle and Moose? Remember what Lashley said to Moose last week? Let's talk. Let's talk about what's going on. Sorry, Miracle, but the truth is, Moose doesn't want to have nothing to do with you. So this whole little confidence game is out the window. I mean, seriously, Miracle, look at you. Now look at me. I don't have to fake confidence. I am sure that I'm going to beat you. Just like I beat Kurt, Drew Galloway, Jay Storm, DJ B, and Eddie Edwards. I beat them because I am better than them. And the truth is, we can throw all the rules out the window because I am sure that I will destroy you tonight. Yeah, you can destroy me. You know what your issue is? You're too cocky for your own good. And you know what? I don't think you're confident enough to put your money where your mouth is. Really? No, absolutely. Absolutely. And I tell you what, tonight's main event could be a no disqualification match. Because the only chance that you had to win this match tonight is if you had your little friend Moosey with you. And you don't have that anymore. You know, I see it. It's all clear now. I get it. This whole facade that you're putting on. You know what? Don't do that. You know what it is? I see it. You are jealous of Moose. You are jealous. You are jealous that Moose is bigger, he's better, and quite frankly, he is way better. So I know this game you're trying to play and drive this little line between me and my friends. But you know what? I don't think that Moose took you up on your invitation. I don't think he went out to dinner with you. I know my friend, and he would never do that. Really? You don't think he went out to dinner with me? All the evidence points to the fact that he maybe did. Because if he didn't, where is he? Where's Moose? Where is he? He didn't go out to dinner with me? Well, maybe I just smartened him up. Maybe I let him know that you're going to do nothing but use him. Maybe I promised a world heavyweight title shot sometime in the future. Or maybe Moose just hates your guts. I don't believe you for 1 second. I know that Moose is on my side, and he will do what I want, when I want. And tonight, I will become TNA World Champion. Calm down, Mr. Hostile. I'm going to tell you what. You have no chance of doing that. I tell you what. I'm confident that I'm going to whoop your ass tonight. That's one. I'm confident that I'm going to walk away the World Heavyweight Champion tonight. And you know why? Because there is nobody that can stop me. No one. We don't know the relationship right now between Booch and the Miracle Mike Benny. We can speculate. We saw what Mike Benny did in the Battle Royal last week. He eliminated Moose. We saw Moose's reaction. Who knows what's going on over the past 7 days? Where does Moose's allegiance lie right now? I mean, that's what I was going to say. You're talking about we don't know the relationship between Moose and the Miracle Mike Benny. Well, hell, we don't know the relationship between Moose and Lashley. Lashley seemed very confident. He said the World Championship match later tonight can be no disqualification because the Miracle doesn't have Moose watching his back. It's real funny how everyone is talking about me. In fact, you got the whole Impact Zone chanting, Booch! See, ever since I came here to CNA, I let my actions do the talking. And whoever got in my way, I knocked them straight on their ass. You know this. And Bobby, I know you know this too. And you also know that last week, I didn't meet you anywhere. I knew it, Bobby. See, this is my friend. This is my Moose. You see, he's on my side. Yes, oh, Bobby, you look a little scared because now that Moose is on my side, I am going to win. No. We are going to win the TNA World Title. We are going to run this place. We. Mike, I did not forget what happened last week. And tonight, in the main event, I decide who walks out this ring, the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. What does that mean? I have no idea. But then it means that's what he said. How is Moose going to determine the outcome of tonight's World Championship match between Lashley and the Miracle?
This is probably one of the best, most interesting segments I've seen. Just for the simple reason that Moose finally got to use his own entrance music. So first of all, let me just say thank you to TNA for finally pulling the fucking trigger on that. Let me just say that shit. That being said, what I found interesting about this is the fact that Moose is saying, I will decide who the champion is. Pretty much means he's going to interfere and decide who he wants to help. So it turns out Moose did not meet Bobby Lashley for dinner. But at the same time, remembers the Miracle screwing him out of the match. So obviously there's still a lot at stake here. And that was something that I found interesting. The fact that the Miracle, nobody really knows where Moose's allegiance is going to lie. Will Moose, stay with Mike Bennett, or will he turn on Mike Bennett and align himself with Bobby Lashley? What's going to happen? All I know for sure is that Moose got to use his entrance music, and that was more important to me than anything. Because Moose's music is so well done, and it helps him get over with the crowd when they go, Moose, 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 Moose. Because that is definitely something that's going to help him get over. But I'm noticing the TNA crowd is not, because they're having some people are getting behind it, but most of the audience isn't. Like, I can tell. I can tell the audience is like, I don't know if it's just the audience is lazy and doesn't give a shit. In general, or if they straight up just don't like Moose. Something is off about this. Because in Ring of Honor, they went crazy with this shit. But in TNA, Moose is having a more difficult time. And I think it's because, A, he's aligned with Mike Bennett, and B, they've been making him come out with Mike Bennett's music the whole time, which I find very annoying. Like, very annoying that they're doing that. So I'm glad Moose got to use his entrance music. I'm at least grateful for that. And now we're going to find out who the world champion is at the end of the night. And on that note, we move on to the first official match of the evening, which is Crazy Steve one-on-one against Broken Matt Hardy. And then, of course, Crazy Steve is drooling on himself. Matt is making exaggerated biting movements like like he often does when he gets in someone's face. And also, and they're like jabbering like mental patients in a bad movie. Like, how do you want what you wanted? You know, it's like weird shit. But I like it because, again, it's character development. It's bringing your character into the match instead of just worrying about doing high spots and entertaining moves. It's about getting people invested in the character that you're creating. And that's what's great about Crazy Steve and Matt Hardy. And that's what's making the rivalry between the Broken Hardys and Decay so well done. They're all fucked in the head and they deliver it properly. This, I'll be honest right now, this is the only rivalry I really give a shit about in TNA. I'm not caring about anything else right now. The Broken Hardys have my attention more than anything, which is why I really want them to procure the tag team titles of the world at Bound for Glory. What I just recently found out, I'm going to probably watch at Frank's house. I'll probably have Zach with me. Hopefully I finish season 4 of Arrow by then. We can talk about that as well. But ultimately, and either way, this is some great match. You know, and it was great back and forth action between Matt and Crazy Steve. Also, like I said, great ring psychology, great use of their characters. These guys truly know how to put on a match and do it the old school proper way. It's amazing what these guys did. And then, of course, the crowd is completely behind the Broken Hardys, who I think have made a face turn in the midst of all this as they're chanting, delete, 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 delete. It is well done, and I'm loving it. It's awesome. And then, of course, Steve grabs Matt's nose and forces Hardy into the corner, which is another weird thing. And then, of course, Abyss and Rosemary are not at ringside, and Brother Nero is not there either. It's just Broken Matt. Then, of course, out of nowhere, as Brother Nero comes out, attacks Steve as the referee is distracted by Matt. Nero rolls Steve back in the ring. Matt is gesturing. Steve back up. Steve gets back up, and Matt Hardy hits a twist of hate. 1, 2, 3, Matt Hardy wins the match. And I love the fact that Broken Matt won the match. It gives them a leg up in the feud and shows that the Broken Hardys are prepared to step into the ring against Decay. And of course, Jeff Hardy fought Abyss a few weeks, either the week before or a few weeks back. We saw Jeff Hardy go one-on-one with Abyss. So it's great to see Matt Hardy go one-on-one with Crazy Steven. Hopefully at some point we get to see Rebby go one-on-one with Rosemary. I think that would be an amazing fight and a great turn of events in that regard. I would love to see that. Rebby get back in the ring because she can wrestle. She is a legit wrestler. And fight Rosemary, I think would be one hell of a showcase. It definitely would be one hell of a showcase. And it'd be great to see. Excuse me. And on that note, as Matt and Nero are heading up the ramp, Crazy Steve grabs a microphone and he starts laughing maniacally. And the number one thing we've been realizing is, where are Abyss and Rosemary? Well, apparently, we get our answer.
Matthew, for all of your broken brilliance, you certainly are blind to what's going on around you. See, I may have came here alone, but decay is everywhere, including the hardiest fate. King Maxwell, he no longer belongs to you and Rebby. For now, he's Rosemary's baby. Is Rosemary really at the hardiest state? What the world is going on? Those words.
Well, I guess it's safe to say that Matt Hardy's premonition has in fact come to fruition. Just so you know, every time I recap TNA, I'm going to fucking talk like this. I'm pre-warning you all in advance. I am doing the broken brilliance because I just love it so much. As I sit here in my chair with wheels. I have a chair with wheels despite the fact there is a carpet on the floor. So I cannot really have the luxury of moving around in my chair with wheels. But at least I can spin in one place. But anyway, obviously, Rosemary's now at the Hardy estate, apparently. I don't know if Abyss is there too. Probably not. In fact, I think Abyss, I don't know I can't remember if Abyss was there or not. But I do know that this is definitely becoming one hell of a story, especially if Rosemary does in fact kidnap Maxwell and treat her like her baby. Because it's definitely a psychotic way of thinking, trying to kidnap and make this thing more crazy. And of course, by doing this, it helps to make Decay the heels. Because, ever since Matt became broken, this broken thing has been a heel. Well, technically, Matt's been a heel as far back as Big Money Matt. But the broken thing has been a heel, especially up against Jeff. But now that Jeff has become Brother Nero and the broken Matt gimmick has taken off like wildfire, they've now managed to make them the face. And Decay is remaining the heels because Decay, let's face it, they play better heels than they could ever than babyface character. That's not a babyface group. That is definitely a heel group. and they're very good at it. So why not make that happen? And Crazy Steve showed that he's even crazier because despite the fact he just got his ass kicked by Matt Hardy, he's still laughing knowing that, you know, you won the battle, Matt, but Decay is going to win the war. And I love when people when they get sick and twisted like that. It's amazing. So obviously Matt and Brother Nero quickly run to the back and try to figure everything out. And then of course after that, we cut to an interesting promo that's cut by the members of the X Division. Because as we know from weeks ago, Bobby Lashley chose to vacate the X Division title. He pretty much threw it on the ground and said, I ripped the heart and soul out of the X Division, so this is meaningless. And then to the King of the Mountain title, he threw that away and said, this is meaningless. Now, obviously, everyone agreed, apparently Billy Corgan and Dixie Carter did as well, that the King of the Mountain title is pretty much crap. But the X Division title is the heart and soul of TNA. And I think that Bobby Lashley vacating the belts was kind of stupid. And pretty much all it really does is bury the X Division because Bobby Lashley, in my opinion, should have lost the X Division title. Just don't let him be pinned or submitted. Just like whether he lost in that ladder match with DJZ or in the Ultimate X Gauntlet match that's about to take place right now, I felt that would have been a better way to preserve the X Division. And make the X Division more legit by having them all band together to take out Bobby Lashley and preserve their division. But obviously, TNA, when it comes to writing stuff like that, they either aren't capable of coming up with that or they're just lazy. But I could have wrote something for that. It was that simple. And what most people don't understand is that sometimes something simple is better. And so anyway, there's now an Ultimate X Gauntlet match to determine a new X Division champion. And here's what the X Division stars have to say about the title and the division.
The X Division is impossible to explain. So I'm going to try and walk through it. The X Division means everything to TNA. See, in the X Division, you need to be incredibly versatile. We're the top of the full match, pretty cool, no fear. Every time we jump off that top rope, we could have our careers cut short. The physicality of the X Division just reminds me of the G Division place. You think coming off the top rope is then the X Division is fueled by adrenaline. But the toll that it takes on your body is unlike anything else in this world. So it's willingly playing Russian roulette with your career. No fear in the X Division. For me, the X Division Championship represents the limit. To have that X Division Championship, it means that you are the man. That belt built this company. And as hard as it is to get the X Division title, it's even harder to keep it. That is Ultimate X. You want to win, that's where you're headed. See, this ring can be your best friend or your worst enemy. You've got people coming from all angles, over there, from behind, from off the top rope. Now you use metal. Now you use strength. And now brains. I'm about to take things up to a whole nother level. A whole nother kind of crazy. Damn X.
Okay. One thing I definitely want to clarify right here and right now is this. The world title signifies that you are the man. I have respect for the X Division, but don't get it twisted. You're the man if you're the world heavyweight champion. The X Division title means you're one of the best in the world, but you're not the best in the world. The world title makes you the best in the world. That is the top prize. I mean, the X Division is supposed to be about no limit. The X Division is supposed to be about, you know, the extreme, the high flyer, the death-defying stunts, all the acrobatic flips, the flippy-dippy bullshit that almost every wrestler pretty much has to do today if you want to get a crowd reaction, which is goddamn ridiculous to me. That signifies what the X Division is all about. And the X Division is definitely legit, and it definitely is something that brings a whole new perspective to wrestling. But what really makes the X Division special is the fact that you can cash in for a title shot at Destination X. You can cash it in to become world champion, or have a title versus title match like Eddie Edwards and Bobby Lashley did. And I don't know if that's going to be a new thing that TNA is going to do every year, or if that was just a one-time thing to, you know, have someone garner both belts. I don't know what the hell it was, what the point of that was, but I guess we'll find out in the long run if that'll work out good for everybody. But obviously the X Division is a big part of TNA, but the reason is because it was unlike anything wrestling had seen before. That's what made the X Division great. And a lot of former X Division champions did in fact go on to become world champion. People like AJ Styles and Samoa Joe, just to name a few. Kurt Angle was even a former X Division champion at one point. You know, these guys have all taken part in it. I just wish that Bobby Lashley had done a little bit more with the X Division title instead of just vacating our match and, just like I said, find a way to have interference and stuff and have Lashley lose, but don't lose clean. Would have made things a lot easier. And on that note, we cut to the backstage area with Broken Matt and Brother Nero. As we mentioned before, Crazy Steve has said that Rosemary's at the Hardy estate, and they're planning to kidnap Maxwell, which was in the premonition of Broken Matt. Well, Broken Matt is now panicking, so he tries to call home to his wife Rebecca and get her on the phone to find out what's going on and make sure everything's okay. And here's what unfolds.
Brother Nero, I fear the local Steve may not be bluffing, and that my premonition may be coming true. Our ability may be in peril. I must notify Rebecca immediately via this video interface. Rebecca isn't responding. Vanguard 1, there could be an imminent threat. I need you to scan the grounds immediately.
This was funny. Obviously, he says bluffing, but he tries to say bluffing, but he sounds like bloating. I fear the loco Steve. I love that. He says, I need to notify Rebecca immediately using this video interface, which is basically FaceTime. He's using the FaceTime app on his iPhone to FaceTime Rebby. The video interface. I love it. He comes up with new things to say every time. So Matt gets on another phone and instructs Vanguard 1 to scan the grounds. And this is what's great. It says on Vanguard 1, on the drone camera, it says, decayed zombie Brother Nero's with a height of 18 feet 2 inches and a weight of 700 pounds. Probably means abyss. Other attributes, like to eat brains, love dark light, have a rewards card at Hot Topic, and loves Marilyn Manson. Freaking brilliant. Broken brilliant. And there's also a list of known aliases. And then Vanguard 1 continues to search. We see someone is looking at Rebby's phone, and it's King Maxwell in his crib. and the camera pans up, and we see Rosemary outside the house. So already we know Rosemary is at the Hardy estate, and they're coming for King Maxwell. But that's just freaking awesome. A rewards card at Hot Topic. Because that does sound like a store Decay would shop in. Because Hot Topic is pretty much the gothic kids live for that place. And now I'm not gothic, but I've been to Hot Topic a couple of times. They do have some other cool like shirts and stuff that you don't necessarily have to be gothic to shop there. You can just like authentic shit. If you like anime or authentic shit, you can go there too. Even though mostly there is some mostly gothic shit for goth people to shop there. And I just personally thought that was hilarious. I really did. I thought that was funny as hell. That TNA, that they did that with Vanguard 1. So, again, a hell of a job. A hell of a job. And on that note, we move on to the next match of the evening for the X Division Championship, the Ultimate X Gauntlet match. Trevor Lee versus Andrew Everett versus Mandrews versus Rockstar Spud versus DJZ. And this match was pretty much everything you would expect from an X Division match. What's great is that they had people enter throughout the show. So Trevor Lee and DJZ kind of start things off. And they just get right to the action. And what's great about this is that DJZ hits a jawbreaker on Trevor Lee, springboards over him. Excuse me. And catches him with a flying back elbow off the ropes. By the way, if you notice the tweet that I posted at the beginning on Twitter, I wrote that it's hump day and I'm still tired. It's because I'm still feeling the effects, everybody. So it's gonna be a lot of yawning today. I'm probably not gonna get any sleep till Saturday at the rate I'm going with everything I gotta do. So it's probably going to be a lot of yawning, and I know Saturday I'm going to be making up for all the lost time. Because damn, if I'm not the sleepiest motherfucker on earth, I'm still wrecked from Vegas. And but anyway, we got, after some amazing back and forth action, eventually Andrew Everett comes in, and the Helms Dynasty pretty much double teams DJZ and starts climbing to get the Ultimate X belt. And then Mandrews comes in and kind of evens up the odds a little bit as they try to take down the Helms Dynasty so that they can have it out for the X Division title. And then, of course, Rockstar Spud comes out, who nobody likes. And then, of course, DJZ, who was pretty much the star of this show, hit a backdrop face breaker, pretty much taking everybody out. Does at one point does a suicide, does like a huge somersault plancha, take everybody out outside the ring. And then what's really, really great is that Andrew Everett and Trevor Lee are both struggling with the X Division title. They get the title off the cables, but neither man has it secure. They're still just playing tug of war. And then DJZ springboards out the top rope, grabs it from them, and wins the match. So the winner of the match and the new TNA X Division champion is DJZ. And in my opinion, DJZ deserves to be the X Division champion. First of all, he won that weird number one contender ladder match at Slammiversary to earn the right to face off for the X Division championship. He also got screwed out of it when they had that stupid, goddamn ridiculous ladder match with Bobby Lashley, which did nothing to benefit anyone. So to see DJZ finally hold the X Division title, which we all know that he deserves to have, pretty much makes this all worthwhile. Like I said before, this is pretty much like I said, a normal X Division match, high flying moves galore, hurricanrana, suicide dives, somersault planchas. But I love the way the finish was. That was true X Division style. Two guys playing tug of war. One guy just jumps out of nowhere and grabs the belt. It's a hell of a lot better than having to bring in a ladder or scaling the cables and grabbing it. It was a new way to end the match, which is what I enjoyed. They presented a brand new, innovative way to win the match, which benefited everyone on the card. And that's really all you can ask for. So, in my opinion, nobody looked weak in this match. All the X Division guys looked great. And DJZ is standing on top of the mountain as the X Division champion where he belongs. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we cut to the backstage area with EC3, who is basically talking about the fact that last week he defeated Drew Galloway to officially keep his number one contender spot. He is now going to face off for the world title at Bound for Glory against either Bobby Lashley or the Miracle Mike Bennett. And here's what EC3 has to say about being Bound for Glory.
Last week's match against Drew Galloway was a fight. It was one of the fights of my life. But I proved I deserved to be the challenger of Bound for Glory for the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, what happened between Drew and Aaron, I mean, it's unfortunate, but that is not my business. My business is the World Heavyweight title. And tonight, my eyes are focused on that main event. Well, how about instead of focusing on those yahoos, you focus yourself on Eli Drake? And I'll tell you why. Because, look, I'm actually hoping, I'm pulling for you to win at Bound for Glory. Because tonight, you got me. You got to stand across that ring and look into these eyes. And then what you got to do is you got to lay down and take that 1, 2, 3, which means then I become the automatic number one contender after you become that champion. So, all I can think of from there is, man, you guys cherish that moment because there's one guy who's going to take it from you, and that's me. And that's not an insult. That is just a fact. I think the fact is, you're probably going to get your ass kicked tonight. You're gonna cut me off like, yeah. And you're gonna kick my ass. Yeah. Cut me off again. I will punch your ticket.
Well, it looks like EC3 isn't going to take any of Eli Drake's bullshit. And I definitely like that. EC3 and Eli Drake are about to go one-on-one a little later on in the show. But yeah, EC3 is like, look, it's unfortunate, but that's not my business. I have no desire to get involved in the feud between Drew Galloway and Aaron Rex after Drew Galloway snapped last week and pretty much attacked Aaron Rex. He doesn't give a shit, as well as he shouldn't. He said, right now, all I care about is getting the world heavyweight title Bound for Glory and kicking the ass of Eli Drake. And I thought that was a good segment between the two of them. And I would love to one day down the road see a rivalry form between them because they are not only two of the best wrestlers in TNA, they're also two of the best talkers in TNA. Damn. Got some hiccups going right now. But anyway, I think I'm calm now. So the point is, these guys are incredible athletes, incredible talkers. We definitely can expect a lot out of these guys in the long run if there's a rivalry to be had. And I hope there is, because they're two of the best in TNA. They would have a great rivalry, especially if it didn't revolve around the world title, assuming that EC3 does beat Bobby Lashley at Bound for Glory, which I do think is going to happen because on October 21st, Bobby Lashley does have an MMA fight on his hands, and I think that he should drop the title and focus on that fight. And then after that, he needs to be given time off from TNA to, put his focus and energy into that MMA fight. Now, I'm sure he's been training. When he's not taping for TNA, I'm sure he's out training his ass off in the gym, getting ready for the fight. But I think that after Bound for Glory, he should just go away for a while and put that focus on MMA. And then let's have a feud between EC3 and Eli Drake for a couple of weeks. And then eventually when Bobby Lashley's done with the MMA fight, he can come back to TNA and then kind of get a rematch for the title. And then maybe after he loses that, because I think EC3 should remain champ for a while, put Bobby Lashley on more of a part-time schedule. Not necessarily a Brock Lesnar kind of schedule, but he doesn't need to be on every week. Kind of let him focus on the MMA a bit and let everybody else kind of fight for the championship. I like Bobby Lashley, don't get me wrong, but there is such a thing as overkill in TNA, even though you have a lack of a roster. And on that note, we were talking before about Drew Galloway and Aaron Rex. Apparently, we catch up to Drew Galloway backstage, and he's got something to say.
Suppose you want to know what happened. This isn't the place. You're certainly not the person. I'm going to head back where all this occurred. If you like it or not, I don't care, but I'm going to tell you exactly what's going on in my head right now.
Well, obviously, Drew Galloway is very pissed off. He's not happy with the fact that he lost to EC3. And even though Aaron Rex called the match right down the middle, Galloway is still not happy and decided to attack Aaron Rex after the match, pretty much beat him down senseless, till security finally had to split them up. Now, the big question is, why Drew? Why? Why did Drew Galloway attack Aaron Rex? Drew Galloway, a man who was told to, who wanted to stand up for professional wrestling, a man of the people. Why did he attack Aaron Rex? A man who at one point was a close friend. Well, Drew Galloway officially gives us his explanation. Here is why Drew Galloway attacked Aaron Rex.
Why, Drew? Why? I guess you don't know what you've got till it's gone. Or it breaks. Or it snaps. I've been asking myself why, actually. Why, when I first came in, did I stand up for this place? Everyone in the back and all of you. When I won the world title, I got in that crowd and we celebrated together. We partied that night and we partied for a week. Then when I lost the title, and EC3 screwed me 3 times in front of your eyes, you cheered his name over mine. Then Aaron Rex showed up, saying a lot of similar things I remember saying, and felt the need to be in the main event scene and somehow convinced Dixie Carter he should be the special guest referee. All right, whatever. Well, Carter and I have the match. He wins, and I looked to all of you. And it was a
of war and you're clapping your hands, and I'm thinking, thank you, I appreciate the fact you appreciate me, but you're not cheering me, you're cheering the damn referee. You turned your back on me. This wasn't his fault or anyone else's fault. This was all of you. Iron Rex, I see what you're doing. I've already done it. I've set an example to everybody. I have become a verb to do and through, to succeed in spite of others through your talent. You're trying to be the next me. In that respect, I am your Messiah, and I had to teach you a lesson. If I see you again, mate, I promise you, I swear to you, I'm going to put you in the bloody hospital.
So as Drew Galloway explains his actions from last week, this is our president, Billy Corgan.
Mr. Galloway, I think it goes without saying that your actions are reprehensible. And the man that you attacked, savagely beat right there, a man I personally appointed as the special guest referee, was an usurpation of my authority and effrontery to everyone in the back. Seems to me you got a little case of Scottish paranoia. And I have considered suspending you without pay. But then a little bird got in my ear and kind of talked me out of it. Was that right, Billy? Someone talked you out of it. You know, I'm really disappointed in you. For somebody that was anti-authority, somebody that was such a rebel, you've become the establishment. And somebody in your ear, you're the president, you're letting someone else convince you. It sounds to me that you went from a leader to Dixie Carter's little bitch. Real cute, Mr. Galloway. Real cute. Real cute. But no. It wasn't Miss Carter. It was me. I don't need you suspended, princess. We're going to do this my way. Party time. Aaron Rex is back. Aaron Rex is recovered, and here we go. Aaron Rex and Drew Galloway firing haymakers at one another. I know the hockey. It's a hockey fight, man. There's more intense than hockey fight. Look at Drew Galloway. His first up the steel steps. And I remember Galloway put Aaron into those field down. Return the fingers around. Aaron Rex said, I don't want Drew Galloway suspended. Let's do this my way. Aaron Rex is doing things his way, and he's got a steel chair in his security. Let's watch retribution. He's up. Corgan from the 52 now to step back up. Hey, Galloway trying to take down the guard. But Aaron Rex. Now impact official. The crowd wants to see him do that. Right now. Galloway and Aaron Rex cheating. And Drew Galloway was free. Aaron Rex is free. Here we go again. And the wrestlers out here now. Agents and referees. It's the war between Aaron Rex and Drew Galloway.
Well, I can honestly say that's one hell of a story right there. So Drew Galloway feels the fans turned his back on him, and that's why he's essentially going to turn his back on them, basically. You know, he attacked Aaron Rex, even though he said technically it's not really Aaron's fault. It's mostly your guys' fault. But he decided to piss off the fans by beating up their hero, which is the best way to piss them off. Classic heel move right there. And, of course, he called Billy Corgan, he called him Dixie Carter's little bitch. And if you listen real close, you could actually hear the crowd chanting, Dixie's bitch, Dixie's bitch, Dixie's bitch, Dixie's bitch. Like they were really going off. And then, of course, Aaron Rex comes out. And I like the fact that, Aaron Rex is milking that promo of he's doing things his way. So he said, I don't need you suspended. I'm just going to kick your ass. And then they fight. I like the fact he called him princess. I thought that was pretty funny too. The only difference is I didn't like the fact security got involved too early. I felt that Aaron Rex should have gotten a few shots in with that steel chair on Galloway, and then the security should have came out. I felt that he should have gotten those few chair shots. Plus, it's hard to say I'm going to do things my way and have security come out and break it up. I felt that let him get a couple shots in with that chair, because for Christ's sake, the guy banged his head against ring sets repeatedly. Let him get a couple shots in with the chair, then have the security come out eventually and break it up, going, all right, Rex, you made your point. And then build the rivalry up for a few more matches in the coming weeks. And then that way, everything can work out a lot better in that regard. And right now, I see that we have a caller on the line. And so I guess what we're going to do is we'll take a break from the TNA recap, which probably means I'm going to go into overtime again. But that's the price I pay for taking calls. But we'll take this call right now and see what's on the person's mind. And hello, you're on the Boochcast.
Hey, Vinny, it's Gator. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the TNA. I know you were talking about it for a little bit here. I ain't going to take up too much of your time, because I'm going to have to get back to work here shortly. But I just wanted to weigh in a little bit on what was going on.
Sure, go ahead. Of course, Gator. Always.
Well, first things first, I used to about the security and everything. Getting a extra shot in. But, my big deal with having security, when I say security, I say that with air quotation around the word security. I feel like, when you have security in wrestling shows and things like that, they don't always look believable. You know what I'm saying? They don't always make it look believable. So, I think that actually looked somewhat believable. So I think it was good. It was a decent way to do it. That's my opinion on that. But there's still good stuff. I think it's gonna be a decent team. It's not gonna. It's gonna be decent. It's not gonna be something you just look at. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So this should be a decent feud. I wasn't expecting it to be when they were first started doing it. I wasn't expecting it to be that good.
Yeah, I have my doubts too, but it looks like they're starting things off on the right track.
I mean, this is the last time I try to talk and do shit at the same time. But sorry, I'm also trying to eat at the same time. I'm on my lunch break. But kids, do not multitask. It is not a good thing to do.
It's all good, man. I know the feeling.
Oh, I know. I'm just shit. Hang on. Wait. Damn it. Come on now. There it goes.
Yay, we got it.
Sorry about that.
It's all good.
We got it, whatever it was. You don't want to know what it was. No, but I think in general, TNA is actually starting to have a decent product. The product is better than it has been in a while. And then the other thing I want to talk about too is, we got Backlash coming up this weekend.
Yes.
And I'm gonna be honest, Smackdown is putting on one hell of a show. And I think they're actually WWE Creative actually letting Stephanie and Shane work with the people they chose as their general managers, and they're actually booking this stuff because it's decent booking. I'm surprised. I wasn't expecting SmackDown to come up with nothing like this. But hey, I'm actually excited for the pay-per-view, which is saying something. Most of the time I just watch it and wait for the potty break. When the potty break is. So
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, me too, man. Like, I've been impressed with SmackDown every week. Like, I've yet to see, me personally, I've yet to see SmackDown put on a bad show. Now, Raw's had a lot of bad shows. In fact, the only time I ever felt that Raw actually beat SmackDown was last week when Triple H turned on Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens won the Universal title. That was the only time I felt Raw beat SmackDown. Other than that, SmackDown has been consistent.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. See, Raw will have periodically it'll have a good show. Every once in a while, once in a blue moon, but SmackDown's like herpes. It keeps coming back each week with a good chick, so that's good.
Absolutely. I best way to put it. I love it. Like, it's SmackDown has truly become, like, I think it's the A show. People can tell me I'm wrong, but I see SmackDown as the A show. I look forward to SmackDown more than I do Raw.
I agree with that. I look forward to SmackDown more than I do Raw. The other thing is, though, I feel like Raw is too long. And I know everybody else is like, oh, Gators, don't get on the bandwagon. It's too long. I know it is. Okay, whatever. Fuck you. I know I'm on the bandwagon here, but still, I'm just saying, 3 hours compared to 2 hours, after 3 hours, I got to get up and jack off at some point.
Yeah, I think once the cruiserweights come on to Raw, which is supposed to be about 2 weeks from now, when the cruiserweights start showing up, I think that 3 hours will be used more effectively. So I don't think necessarily the length of time. I think it's the way they're using it.
Coming to Raw, I would have thought they would have been on SmackDown, but okay.
Yeah, I know. But I think that the reason they're putting the cruiserweights on Raw is because of the fact that it is 3 hours. And I think that once the cruiserweights get transitioned to Raw, I think the 3 hours will be a lot better because they'll be able to put the cruiserweights in different spots and not have to waste the time with repetitive matches and squash matches.
Well, we got cruiserweights. We need a cruiserweight title. And that's my whole thing is, like they did back in the day. There's a lot of people, do you remember when WWE had cruiserweight? And it wasn't that great. The best cruiserweight division I think I've seen anywhere in wrestling was back in the 90s when WCW had a cruiserweight division.
Oh, yeah.
That's the kind of cruiserweight division you want to have right there. And I think they have potential with these cruiserweight classic guys. I'm talking about guys like Grand Metalik, and I think I said that right.
Yeah.
And, my boy Cedric Alexander, who's a good friend of mine. Those guys, to Jerry, Brian Kendrick, all of them fellas. And this would also be a good time, too, to start picking up some more indie guys for this cruiserweight, because there's a lot in this day and era. See, back in the day, it was hard for anybody who was the size of a cruiserweight to get into wrestling because you were looking for the next big thing. You know what I'm saying? Back in I'm talking times of Hulk Hogan and everybody. You had to be at least 6'2" tall to at least get a job. You know what I'm saying? You had to be at least 6'2".
Yeah.
And because you were getting booked on size alone. You weren't getting booked. Like Andre the Giant's not one of the just basically booked on size alone. Big Joe, size alone. Mark Henry, size alone. Greg Khali, size alone. So now we're in this era, which kind of broke out in the late 90s. We're now in this era of these younger, smaller guys that aren't as big, throwing off these high-flying, death-defying moves. And that, I mean, I'll be honest with you. That's what people want to see. They want to see high-flying. They want to see fine. They want to see all that kind of thing. So I think you're in the market for it. I think there's a great potential here in the cruiserweight.
Oh, yeah. There's definitely money in a cruiserweight division today. Definitely. And I think I think that I definitely agree that they could start looking for other cruiserweights. In fact, my only complaint with the Cruiserweight Classic that I've seen so far, besides the fact that two people I wanted to advance didn't, that was my only, other than that, but is the fact that they're fighting for a trophy. That's the only thing I don't like, is the fact that their prize is a goddamn trophy. I'm like, no, make the prize the belt and have that guy be your champion.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't think they were intending on I don't think they were intending on this being as big as it was. I'll be honest with you. I don't think WWE was intending on this being as big as it was and getting as big a response as it was. And I'll be honest with you also, I think Triple H is instrumental in this becoming what it is and now this being what it is. And I think he's a big part of why they're going to be on Raw. I'll be honest with you too. We've got, NXT guys. I would love to see some of these cruiserweight guys work NXT too. I mean, bring them to NXT a little bit. Work them with NXT, or at least work them on some of the NXT live shows. Take them with you. But, I mean, there's potential everywhere. And speaking of NXT live, in October, I think it's October 23rd, it's a Saturday or something. NXT is gonna be here in my neck of the woods, and I'll be up there watching it and enjoying the show. So that's gonna be cool. It's gonna be my first ever NXT live show. I've never seen it before, and I'm hoping it's gonna be as good as everybody's talking about it.
Yeah, unfortunately I missed NXT the last time they came to Atlanta. I just had way too much going on, but I'm hoping next time they come to Georgia, I'll get to see a live NXT show. But yeah, that I definitely, man, that's gonna be a lot of fun. You're gonna have to talk to us about that next time you're on the Boochcast after you go see NXT. Your next appearance on the Boochcast after that, we gotta talk about that.
Oh, we got to talk about that when I go see NXT. We're gonna definitely talk about that. I know I talked about when I saw Smackdown live. But it wasn't Smackdown live at that time. It was still being recorded on Tuesdays. We played on Thursdays, but it was good. I mean, I know I talked a little bit about Smackdown then. So yeah, it's very interesting the way that things are being done now. I think there's a good group of guys in the locker room back there in WWE that because we're in a time where it's a rebuilding time. It's a rebuilding time.
Yeah.
You got the older guys starting to step down, and the younger boys trying to fight each other for a spot. So that's what they want. That's what everybody wants. Everybody wants a job.
Absolutely.
And they know if I smack Jimmy So-So in the face, I got me a job. Or if I can prove I got this spot here, I got this job. Everybody wants a job. Everybody working for the weekend, everybody wants a job. Everybody wants paper. Everybody wants money. That's what they're fighting for right now. That's why everybody's trying to put on a good show. And I think that in itself is actually making these fans go, wow, this is awesome. So, and even in the indies too. I've been noticing in the indies. When I'm doing my rounds, when I'm doing my travel, there has been an increase in, great matches being put on. People trying to steal the show because they want more bookings. Everybody wants a job.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm saying the WWE here hey, if you want more cruiserweight guys, there's a shit ton of them out here on the indies and in the AIWF, which is the Allied Independent Wrestling Federation. That's like it's like 100 and some nationwide. You know, I think there's at least 3 in every state. 3 independent wrestling promotions that are a part of this in every state. So, you know, and the AIWF has got their own cruiserweight title. So if I'm WWE, I need to be looking at that. I need to be looking at the AIWF, and I need to be looking at the NWA, because the two of those two companies right there, they are putting on shows, and they've got young guys that are hungry and they want to fight. So I'm just saying, just keep a lookout on these other companies, because you may be seeing some faces soon on TV.
All right. Well, I'm definitely going to keep my eyes open for them.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's, like I said, it's the same thing, even with the NWA, because that's what the AIWF is, like the NWA. Well, Bucci, I got to run. I'm going back to work, and you get some stuff done, so take it easy, buddy.
All right, man. Take it easy. Glad you, thanks for calling in today, bro.
Later.
All right. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was a cameo appearance from Gator Ricky Ross. And you can catch him every Monday here on the Boochcast for all the crazy shenanigans and conversations that we have. Glad he took time to call in. And I'm glad he wanted to talk about TNA, and we did get into the Cruiserweight Classic and a few other things, but I'm glad he kept it on topic when he called in. I appreciated that. You know, definitely. And you can catch him September 12th will be his next appearance here on the Boochcast. I'm sure he'll have a few things to say about Backlash. I'm sure he'll have other things to talk about. Hopefully Zach will be joining me on the show Monday as well, as we talk about that, as well as the first season of Arrow. And on that note, we'll pick up where I left off. We just finished talking about Drew Galloway's heel turn. And now we're going to jump into the next segment, which is Matt Hardy, who is still backstage, and he's still attempting to contact Rebby using the video interface known as FaceTime. He's basically trying to FaceTime Rebby. And here's what happens when Matt makes another attempt to contact Rebecca.
Rebecca, Rosemary, and the Abyss are possibly on the way to a home. Tonight's match with Local Steve was nothing more than a setup. They are both in imminent danger. I need you to make sure that you and King Maxwell are absolutely safe.
I'm going to get Maxwell right now, and we're going to go to the safe room, but you need to get back here.
Hold 1 second. Oh, my 7 deities. Rebecca, Rosemary is in our house.
Oh, shit. Rosemary in the house. And I don't mean that in the hip-hop way. She is in the house. Oh, boy. So he said that the match with Loco Steve was a setup. And then he finds out they're in the house. Oh, my 7 deities. I like that. Instead of saying, oh, my God, he goes, oh, my 7 deities. Rosemary is in the haunted compound. Oh, boy. So Rebecca is now off to the safe room, the panic room, with King Maxwell to make sure that they are protected from Rosemary. So now they know Rosemary is inside the house. So she's in the house looking for Maxwell and Rebecca. Rebecca's now gone to the safe room to protect King Maxwell, while Senor Benjamin and Vanguard 1 are still protecting and patrolling the Haunted compound. And it is definitely entertaining, and I love it. Oh, my 7 deities. I'm going to start saying that from now on. That's fucking awesome. See, this is why I love the Broken Matt story. I'm more passionate about this than I am anything else in TNA. I'm just going to be honest with you guys on that. And on that note, we move on to the next match of the evening, which is Eli Drake versus EC3. And these guys have an amazing match. This match was definitely off the chain, very entertaining. These guys delivered a great match inside that ring. These guys are truly two of the best wrestlers on the planet right now are these guys. They're amazing. They're gifted. They're talented. And they know what the hell they're doing. And that is just, all you can really ask for out of wrestlers. And they give it their all. They brawl, they wrestle, everything. It was technical. It was amazing. Like, these guys had great chemistry in the ring with each other. They wrestled, they flipped, they brawled. It was like many different styles mixed up in one fight, in one match. And in the end, Carter sends Drake into the ropes, tosses him up for a flapjack. Carter calls for the 1%er, connects. 1, 2, 3. The winner of the match. And, of course, EC3 wins the match naturally because they want EC3 to look strong going into Bound for Glory, which will be in about a month from now. It's October 2nd is Bound for Glory. So they want to make EC3, I can see him winning the majority of his matches going forward to find out who is going to be the next champion. And EC3 definitely is ready to become. I think that if Bobby Lashley wins tonight, wins in this match, then EC3 is going to win. And then, of course, these guys put on one hell of a match. EC3 stands tall as Eli Drake is retreating up the ramp in shame, knowing he just lost to EC3. It was an incredible match, again, by both these guys. Both of them have amazing moves. Both of them have great charisma. I would love to see these guys fight for the world title down the road if EC3 wins, which I think he will. I think he will become champion. And on that note, we cut to the backstage area where we see Jeremy Borash backstage, and he's about to have a chat with the one and only Allie. Because as most people who may not remember, last week, Allie won the TNA Knockouts Championship when she was involved in what I think was a 6-pack. I don't know if it's a 6-pack. It was like a fatal 4-way type of match for the title. And then Allie in the end managed to, I think it was, I remember now. Basically, Marty Bell hit Allie with a baton. She landed on top of an unconscious Jade, I think. And then when Sienna attacked, and then I think Gail Kim did a drop kick or something, and then Allie got 1, 2, 3 and won the match and the title. Sienna lost her damn mind. Maria was in a state of shock. Everything went crazy. Allie's excited because she's champion. And now Jeremy Borash decides to have a chat with the new Knockouts champion. And here's what Allie has to say about being the champ.
Well, I certainly was
was one of the most shocking moments in the history of the Knockouts division. Last week, a brand new Knockouts champion was crowned, and you will not believe who it was.
The new Knockouts champion is me, Ellie.
Congratulations are in order.
Oh, thank you so much. Do you like my balloon?
Nothing.
Yes, Miss Correa was very, very specific. She gave me a detailed list. I need to get balloons and streamers and confetti. Do you want to know why?
Why?
Because I'm going to have my own celebration. JB, this could quite possibly be the greatest moment of my life.
Congratulations are in order. Your new Knockouts champs.
Allie plays this dumb blonde role so well. And what's even crazier is fans chanted her name when she won the championship. Now, the thing I need to remind people is even though in TNA, Allie hasn't been playing the role of a wrestler, people need to remember, Allie is a legit professional wrestler. Which is why it was very annoying when Josh Matthews talked about how she's not even a wrestler. She doesn't even know how to wrestle. Allie knows how to wrestle. Allie is a legit indie wrestler. She's not just some random chick who got hired by TNA and they decide, oh, we're going to book this random chick who's never had a match to be Knockouts champion. No, they booked a woman who wrestled around the world as Cherry Bomb to be Knockouts champion. So a legit wrestler is still holding the championship. Now, whether or not you think she's a great wrestler is your decision. Wrestling is everything in entertainment is subjective, but the fact is, it's not like they didn't. This is not a David Arquette type of situation. Is what I'm trying to explain to people. Cherry Bomb is a real wrestler. And Allie, of course, is excited. She's going to celebrate. She's going to have a big party. And obviously, we can look forward to seeing what happens in the party. And then after the party, we cut to the backstage area for another interview with the new X Division champion, DJZ. And here's what he has to say about becoming, once again, the X Division champion.
Yeah, after 4 years. I know. Championship. So many emotions. Like you said, it's taken me 4 years to get back to this title, and there's been a lot of ups and downs in those 4 years. I've had health problems. I've had girl problems. I've had personal problems. At some points, I didn't think I was ever going to get back to this title. But this year, 2016, I've been working harder than ever. For the longest time, I was doing just enough to get by. But this year, 2016, I thought to myself, you know what? Let's put a little extra effort on our body. Let's put a little extra effort in the ring. Let's just see what happens if we work hard. Let's see if it truly pays off. Hey, congrats, bud. Thank you. You deserve it, man. This is proof that hard work does pay off. I busted my ass all year, and I'll bust my ass even more now that I am the X Division champion. If I thought it was hard to get back to the title, well, it's going to be even harder to keep the title. But you know what? I'm ready to step up to the challenge. DJZ, two-time X Division champion.
Well, DJZ is officially back on top. And I can honestly say he's earned it. He's back on top of the X Division. Eddie Edwards has even congratulated him on a job well done. DJZ is a hell of a talent. He really is. And I'm glad to see him away from the bromance because he doesn't need to be involved in that group, and he just looks stupid hanging out with them. And, you know, like I said before, he's an incredible talent. And DJZ definitely deserves to be in the spot that he's in. I look forward to seeing more come out of DJZ in the coming weeks and months when he'll be X Division champion. And hopefully he holds on to the X Division title for a very long time, because one of the biggest complaints fans have been having about TNA is the fact that the X Division Championship has been changing hands so much that it's actually become ridiculous. So now DJZ actually needs to have a long, lengthy title reign. Otherwise, the X Division title is going to be crap and meaningless if the title keeps changing hands over and 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 over again. Blah. But hopefully that doesn't happen. But on that note, we're going to move on to the next segment here, which is Allie is in the ring. She's got the Knockouts Championship, and she's got the ring is decorated with balloons and a bottle of bubbly. And here's what Allie has to say about being the new TNA Knockouts Champion.
Maria, and you may be golden, just like she is. Disgusting.
Oh, yeah. If there's one thing Josh Matthews and I definitely agree on, it's that this is beyond disgusting right here. Because as I mentioned before, Allie is a legit professional wrestler. Maria, to my knowledge, is not. Now, I know Maria has been in the wrestling business for a long time. I'm aware of that. But I have yet to see her, from what I've seen, actually wrestle inside a ring. I'm trying to see. Has she actually... Let me see. As far as I can see, has she actually wrestled? I don't think she has. If she has, I'll tell you one thing. She sure as hell... I mean, most of the time I see her in the ring, she's a manager or a valet. I mean, I don't actually see her actually fighting in a one-on-one match. Now, if any of you have seen her in a one-on-one match, please feel free to call into the show and correct me. I don't mind being corrected if you have facts to back up what you're saying. But to my knowledge, Maria's never really actually done any wrestling. Sure as hell hasn't wrestled in TNA. And I've not seen her step into the ring in Ring of Honor. And I watched Ring of Honor for an entire year consistently and never once saw her step into the ring. In WWE, I saw her wrestle a few times. But never really saw her get in the ring. In fact, she was one of those people that came in via the Diva search. Like, there's no, and she was a ditzy interviewer, which was funny. And she worked with Santino Marella. And that just was ridiculous. The whole thing is ridiculous. She's done battle royals and shit like that. But there's nothing worse. And I don't understand why people think this is a good thing even for heels. I don't care if you're a good guy, bad guy, whatever. Anytime in a match you force somebody to lay down and take a pin for a championship, it's not good booking. I cannot recall a single moment in wrestling history. And again, if I'm wrong, please call in and tell me. But I have never seen a moment in wrestling history where laying down for someone and taking a pin where that was ever good booking. Ever. I don't know. Maybe I need Jim Cornette to call in and maybe educate me on this. But I don't see the logic in where that is a good booking decision ever. Even if you're a heel, it doesn't fucking matter. It's stupid to do that. I mean, I can understand if you booked a match or if you did something where Allie and Sienna came out and they beat down on Allie and then eventually built up a match where Maria and Allie would wrestle one-on-one for the Knockouts title, had a little outside interference, and Maria defeated Allie and became the champion. That would have been better. I don't know what it is with TNA, but I don't know if Maria has a clause in her contract where she doesn't want to wrestle, but for some reason, they don't want to put this bitch in the ring. And I find that very irritating. especially when she should have been in the ring at Slam-a-Goddamn-versary. Okay, I understand wanting to make the audience wait for something. I understand slow burn pushes, but sometimes it just gets too goddamn slow. You got to find a happy middle ground. Because on the one hand, some things do take time to develop, but at the same time, wrestling fans, me in particular, a lot of us, our patience level is not very high. And it's getting to the point where it's getting goddamn ridiculous that Maria can win the Knockouts title this way. If you want to be a heel and win a title in a heel-like way, there's better ways to go about it. I've never understood the lay-down concept in professional wrestling. I never understood it. It makes no fucking sense. On what planet is that entertaining? On what planet? Maybe I need Vince Russo to explain it to me. He's an expert on that. He had Hogan lay down for Sting on a fucking pay-per-view, where Sting turned on Hogan the pay-per-view beforehand. Sting turns heel. Hogan came out in freaking street clothes at Halloween Havoc, laid down, and let Sting pin him. What the shit was that? And then later on the night, Sting went one-on-one with Goldberg, and Goldberg would win the world title that night. Like, there's nothing makes sense about that. Nothing. Where is the logic in that? Oh, we're going to get the heel to generate heat. By disrespecting your championship, you're putting heat on a wrestler. Maria doesn't need any more heel heat. She's already a heel. The fact that she's berating Allie, who the crowd has somehow gotten behind, makes her heel already. The bottom line is, it's stupid booking. I would tell you right now, if I was a wrestling promoter, if I owned a wrestling company, and I hired somebody to be my booker, and they came to me with that idea, he'd be fired. Just like that. I would fire that person in a nanosecond for daring to come up with a stupid concept like that. I mean, I can understand ringing the bell, maybe even have a 10-second match. Attack him from behind, beat him down, do something. You know, maybe get a small package or feet on the ropes or something like that. Have a little squash match. That's fine. But the lay down is stupid. And then have Allie crying in tears and putting the belt around Maria's waist. It's stupid. It does nothing. It is the worst wrestling concept I have ever seen. You might as well bring in Courtney Cox and let her have the Knockouts Championship. It gives the same damn meaning. I hate that. I don't have a problem with Maria being Knockouts champion. But I hate that concept. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Even when I was a kid and I went through that phase where I thought wrestling was real, I hated it. When I found out later it was entertainment and it was scripted, I still don't like it. It's a stupid bullshit concept, and it does nothing to benefit the show. It does nothing to benefit the fans. It does nothing to help either wrestler. It doesn't get you heel heat. It sure as hell doesn't help the person laying down. Anytime you do that in a wrestling show, you're pretty much saying fuck you to the fans at home and the fans who paid their tickets. And I would say that about TNA, WCW, WWE, Ring of Honor, New Japan, Lucha Underground, anybody that books that kind of wrestling, that something like that in a wrestling show. I would have been okay with a 10-second squat with a 2-minute squash match. I'd have been fine with that. Allie puts up a bit of a fight against Maria. Looks like she's going to win. Maria rolls up, grabs the tights, or grabs the dress, or whatever the fuck Allie was wearing. I don't remember. I watched TNA 3 days ago. I was half asleep. I don't remember exactly what the fuck she was wearing, but whatever she was wearing. Do a small package, something. Maria quickly wins the title. Allie comes out, Sienna comes out. They beat down on Allie. They leave her laying in the middle of the ring. Maria's holding up the Knockouts Championship. That would have at least been something. But the laydown concept is bullshit. And I'll tell you right now, if I ever saw that I'll tell you right now, I better never. If I paid money to go to a wrestling event and they did that shit, that wrestling event would never get my money again. Whether it's one of the big major companies or one of the local Georgia indie shows. I saw that at a Georgia indie show. I would bury that Georgia indie show in every social media page I've got if they pulled a stunt like that. But I know they won't because I met the people who run those companies and they have too much respect for the business to pull some shit like that. That made me sick. The whole damn thing. All right. I could bitch about this all day, but I'm not going to do that because I got an hour left in the show and I still got plenty more shit to get into. So on that note, we're going to cut to the backstage area again, especially since I need a breather. And we see Moose backstage pacing back and forth. He's got a pipe in his hand and he's basically pacing back and forth, deciding what he's going to do tonight because he said he will decide what happens when he gets approached by the Miracle, Mike Bennett, who basically pleads his case to Moose about the fact that they're still friends and why Moose should do what they had set out to do, and that was help Mike Bennett win the world title. And here's what goes down.
Hey man, you all right? Look, I know you're a little upset with me, all right? But this rift that's being drawn between us, that's not me. That's Lashley. He's trying to get into both of our heads. All that stuff you're reading on social media, he is the cause of all that. Moose, you can't believe what you read on social media. Think about Tom Brady. Hell, you played with the great Tom Brady. Do you think he listens to people when they say he deflated footballs? Moose, that's just like us. Tonight, we win our game.
I don't know, man.
Moose, tonight is our Super Bowl. You know what they say, Moose? You can't win the game without the right equipment. Moose, I know you'll do what's right for us.
Wow. Mike Bennett seems to have all the confidence in the world that Moose has got his back. So much so he handed him the pipe. So I know as he was walking around with the pipe in his hand, I was wrong. He was pacing back and forth, and the Miracle handed him the pipe. But, the lead pipe. But, either way, you know, the Miracle pled his case to Moose. Definitely gave Moose something to think about. I love the fact that he talked about him playing with Tom Brady because you can't believe everything that you hear. And do you think Tom Brady listened when people said he deflated footballs? No, he didn't. I know Tom Brady didn't listen. He pled his innocence throughout the whole thing when it was clearly obvious he was guilty. But it doesn't really matter. Tom Brady didn't listen. He didn't have to listen. The evidence was overwhelming. Yet he was able to get it overturned. And I believe the only reason he got that suspension overturned to begin with, he got a 4-game suspension. The fucker got off easy. It's because he's Tom Brady and he generates ratings. That's the only reason. They knew without Tom Brady on TV, no one would watch. So from a business standpoint, he got it overturned. Despite the fact that he's a ballless turd. So I just wanted to say that. I know, like I said, football season starting next week, so I might as well start it right now. Fuck Tom Brady. Yeah, I said it. Fuck Tom Brady. And his deflated balls. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But we now know that Moose is looking at that pipe, wondering what he's going to do tonight. Is he going to help the Miracle? Is he going to help Bobby Lashley? What's going to happen? All I know is Mike Bennett, he's taking the ultimate gamble right now. And he's putting his trust in Moose. And we'll find out if he makes the right decision. And on that note, we move on to the last to the next segment of the evening, which is basically we now know that Rebecca has found out that they're inside the house, and we cut back to the Hardy compound where they're in the safe room, the Hardy Cinema, and Rebecca is back there, is in the back in the safe room with Maxwell, and Senor Benjamin approaches. And now we know that apparently Rosemary's in the house, but Rebecca is tired of hiding and decides to go looking for Rosemary. And here's what goes down.
Rosemary is in the house right now.
Could you get your arms, honey?
Hold Maxwell, please. I'm going to get this bitch myself. You're in my house, you freak. Mary, where are you? Oh, Rebecca. Shall we see the time that you love your baby?
Honey, don't cry. I have Maxwell. Ella se fue.
Nobody comes into my house and messes with my family. Senor Benjamin, prepare the battlefield for massacre.
All right. So basically Rebecca got a taste of her own medicine when she once threw a doll at Jeff Hardy thinking it was the baby before Matt Hardy attacked Jeff from behind and hit the side effect during the lead up to the final deletion. So now Rosemary takes a fake baby, throws it over the balcony, and, Rebecca barely catches it, but thank God finds out that it's a decoy, but is freaking out until she finds out that Maxwell was never kidnapped. So now Senor Benjamin is preparing the battlefield for massacre, and this Thursday, tomorrow night on Impact Wrestling will be the sequel to the final deletion, and it'll be called Delete or Decay. Delete or Decay. So it'll be Decay coming to the Hardy estate to face the Hardys. Now, it'll be Matt, Jeff, and Rebecca in this match against Abyss, Crazy Steve, and Rosemary at the Hardy compound. So, Senor Benjamin is now going to prepare the battlefield for Massacre, and we will see Delete or Decay. So, it'll either be Delete, 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 or Decay, Decay, Decay. One of the two will emerge victorious in this bout, leading up to Bound for Glory for the tag team titles. The tag titles are not on the line in this match. It's just a 6-person fight. And it's going to be fun to watch tomorrow night. And on that note, we will now move on to the main event of the evening. No disqualification for the TNA World Heavyweight title. Lashley puts the title on the line against Mike Bennett. And this match was as good as it could be. Of course, throughout the match, Maria makes attempts to distract Lashley because there's no disqualification. So Maria does her best as the valet to interfere, which is one heel tactic she's actually getting right on this fucking show. But anyway, great back and forth action between both these men. Definitely hard hitting, definitely a brawl, definitely something that is amazing to see inside the ring. I was very impressed with all of the epic, stuff that we encountered and witnessed throughout. And the crowd chants pretty heavily for Lashley. Bennett mocks them and him. Another heel-like tactic, which is great. These guys pretty much kill each other throughout the match. So many near falls, so many amazing moments. Basically, again, Maria distracting throughout. Bennett hitting multiple moves. At one point, Maria grabs his feet. Bennett hits the opportunity to hit a diamond cutter. They call it just a cutter, but I'm going to say diamond cutter. He goes for the cover. Bennett and Lashley kicks out. Lashley squirms free with hits a schoolboy after, Bennett sends the champion on his shoulders looking for the miracle in progress, the MIP. Doesn't get it. Then, of course, at the end, Bennett calls to Moose. Now's the time. And he wants the pipe. So Moose comes out. And it looks like he's about to hand the pipe to Mike Bennett. But then Moose pulls the pipe away. Starts leaving the arena laughing. Bennett doesn't see what Moose sees. Bennett turns around. Lashley hits a devastating spear. 1, 2, 3. The winner of the match. And still TNA World Heavyweight Champion Bobby Lashley. Now, obviously, this now means that we're going to see a rivalry between Moose and Mike Bennett, which I think will culminate at Bound for Glory. Obviously, Bobby Lashley will be facing EC3 for the TNA World title, which is the culmination of every stare down and altercation they have had, going all the way back to the Kurt Angle farewell tour. And now I think EC3 and Bobby Lashley are going to have a legit match. And I do see EC3 walking out of Bound for Glory, the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. And that's and that was pretty much it. Amazing match. Moose getting involved. But there's still one more moment that takes place. Lashley celebrates in the ring. Moose drops the pipe. Lashley walks past Moose smiling. They're kind of just looking at each other and smiling. They're not necessarily a team, but she is kind of happy. He is kind of happy to still be the champion. But Mike Bennett, after he gets up, grabs the microphone, and here's what he has to say to Moose about his betrayal.
Moose, big, stupid animal. Get your dumbass into my ring. Now! Oh, God. I can't breathe. Oh, Big John Trainer, do you think you are? You're a failed football player. You were nothing without me. What gives you the right? You do what I say when I say it. If you ever do that again, so help me God, I will make sure you never wrestle again. Are you listening to me? Are you listening to me? You listening to It's Booch. And now the miracle my friend has to realize that he's dealing with a whole new big, incredible, big Booch.
Well, Mike Bennett is clearly pissed off, but of course, for his troubles, he got beat down by Moose. Crowd starting to get behind him. I love the fact that Moose has officially turned face. So, like I said before, I see these guys culminating in a match at Bound for Glory. What I'd like to see happen in the coming weeks is Moose coming out more to his entrance music, and he needs to start getting the crowd and doing the Moose thing to the entrance. And what I think they need to do is, I think Moose needs to slow the pace down with his entrance a little bit more, so the crowd has time to do the whole Moose, 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 Moose. Are you ready to bust some heads? He needs to start getting that going a little bit more in order to, get the crowd on his side. But I think with a little bit of time, hopefully by Bound for Glory, he'll have the whole crowd going crazy for him. So, one hell of a main event. Very well done show. Overall, well done show, aside from the laying down pin thing. Everything else about TNA was pretty much great. It's a new solid product. And I look forward to seeing Delete or Decay take place tomorrow night. And then, of course, on Friday, I'll be talking about it here on the Boochcast. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will wrap up the recap of TNA Impact Wrestling. We're now going to move on to Smackdown Live, which took place last night in Lincoln, Nebraska. Like I said, I'm doing this week's. If you want to hear what happened on last week's SmackDown, you have to listen to the episode of the Boochcast, the Desmond Dagenhart Show Part 3, to find out what happened last week, because I'm not going to touch on last week because Desmond already did it. I'm just going to talk about tonight. We're moving forward. And the show kicks off with the SmackDown General Manager, Daniel Bryan, in the ring, starting up the Yes chant. Next to him is the SmackDown Women's Championship. And as we all know, there'll be the first ever Women's Six-Pack Elimination Challenge to crown the first ever SmackDown Women's Champion. And here's what Daniel Bryan has to say about this historic match taking place this Sunday.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Smackdown Live! In 5 days at Backlash, one superstar's life is going to change forever, as we have the first ever WWE Women's Six-Pack Elimination Challenge. Now, going to walk into this ring, and then one will be eliminated to leave 5, and then 4, and then 3, and then 2, and then ultimately 1 to be the inaugural Smackdown Women's Champion. But before that match this Sunday, tonight, we are going to have all 6 of them in a 6-women's tag match. And before all of that, right now, we are going to have the Women's Championship Forum and my first guest, the one and only, the Irish laugh kicker, Becky Lynch. In the last 5 Smackdown Live on a veteran of over 10 years. A veteran over 10 years, the one thing that will fortify her career and make that career-defining moment is that she finds a way of backlash to become the inaugural WWE Smackdown Women's Champion. And I am for sure that you're going to say Nikki's name first. Don't get me wrong. I do love my sister-in-law. But you were the first draft pick for Smackdown on the Smackdown women's side to bring you here. But speaking of Nikki Bella, I'm going to take this time to do a little plug. October 5th, Wednesday at 8 p.m., Total Bellas season premiere starts only on the E! Network. But I digress. Becky, what would it mean to you to be the first ever Smackdown Women's Champion?
It would mean everything, you know, all the work, all the losses, all the stitches, being thousands of miles from home, but being cheered on by all of these fans here. It would make it all worth it. It would make it all worth it. Maybe there's a reason that my journey was so long, you know? Maybe there's a reason I got turned on at Iron too. Maybe there's a reason I lost my first WrestleMania, but maybe there's a reason I was your first female Smackdown draft pick. Maybe it's because everything I have fought for has led me to this moment, and this Sunday when I defeat 5 other competitors and become the first ever Smackdown Women's Champion will be the greatest night of my life.
Talk about a woman who's already a great champion.
Boring! Here's the real story. Settle your tea kettle. Here's the real story. The worst night of my career, the WWE Draft. July 19th, 2016, because I got stuck with you, Becky. You're whining everybody's out for me, Lucky Charm. Vomit. You heard me. Smackdown Live was supposed to be my kingdom. But instead, I have been tortured day after day after day at the sight of your cheap, unnatural hair color. Oh, just like you, Becky. Oh, yeah. You man. What happened to you? I hear you. What? Previously, on the Real Whiners of WWE, will Natty ever get over her shortcomings? Will Becky ever stop about the past? And will Daniel ever become anything more than just some Bella trophy husband? All these questions and more next week. Oh, excuse me. My name is Bella, and I am the moon-walking, trash-talking chick, always ready to go. Now, obviously, you don't see what I did to Nikki Bella. That's right. So come this Sunday, all of you are going to put you over. He's going to take that? He's going to tell me. Bella is the least of my worries, Ruth. The least of your worries? Okay, Polly Pocket, is it? Polly? Oh, just Polly. Okay. Polly, I am the princess. Hey, I'm setting on. If you're talking about royalty, you address the Queen of Hearts. I wasn't even talking to you. I was talking about me. My princess. You just wearing it. Guys, stop it. Don't you think that Becky wants to turn the three of us against each other? No, never. No. I would.
Becky back. That's a certainly does in Naomi. You'll bring up too. Wait. And it is not the thing has been wet for being explosive. Six-pack challenge to determine Smackdown's inaugural women's champion coming up at Backlash. Yeah, but tonight, Laurel, they're in a tag team match. It's supposed to well to get along. I would bet on it. It will be 6 women's tag team action. Every woman first up goes Sunday at Backlash, but they'll have to post it later tonight.
Damn. Well, obviously, we've got ourselves a bit of a cat fight between these women. And obviously, it's pretty interesting. You know, of course, Daniel Bryan having to plug Total Bellas. I noticed the crowd booing. They really are not happy for that show. But it's true because Daniel Bryan, and it's not just Daniel Bryan plugging it because he's a WWE, because he works for WWE and they're kind of pressuring him because he really doesn't want to. It's also because Daniel Bryan is in the show. So Daniel Bryan would be stupid not to plug it because, you know, even though the show is called Total Bellas, he's in it because he's married to Brie. So, in turn, he kind of has to plug the show anyway. Because if you're on a show, you should plug it. That should be a main priority. Because why would you be on a show and not promote it? Is beyond my comprehension. Because it puts more eyes on Daniel Bryan. So, and I love the fact that Total Bellas comes out the same day as the 5th season of Arrow. I know some of you out there are like, Jesus Christ, is he ever going to stop talking about Arrow? Eventually. Once I've recapped the first 4 seasons, I'll stop talking about Arrow until the end of season 5, and then I'll start talking about it again. But I'm very obsessed with it right now. But it's a pass. Don't worry, it's a passing phase. But anyway, Alexa Bliss calling Daniel Bryan a trophy husband. First of all, there's no reason for it. Alexa Bliss is not in a rivalry with Daniel Bryan. Number 2, why would you piss off the general manager? They make the matches. Number 2. Number 3, Daniel Bryan is a lot of things. But one thing he is not is a trophy husband. All right. What makes you a trophy? Obviously, you just know the term trophy. See, trophy wife is someone who basically doesn't do, is you're married to a rich man and you don't do anything for yourself. That's basically it. You don't have a job. You don't have a job or a career. You don't cook, you don't clean, you don't do anything around the house. You pretty much just lays about. That's a trophy wife. You're pretty much just there to be eye candy. You serve no other purpose in your relationship or in life. That's a trophy wife. Trophy husband, same thing, just with a guy and a girl. Where the wife it's just flip-flop. Where the wife makes all the money and the guy pretty much nothing. That's a trophy husband. You're just there to be the eye candy, the escort to events. That's what you're dealing with. That's what you got. Right there. Pretty much. So Daniel Bryan is not a trophy husband because Daniel Bryan is still working. Bree's the one not working. I mean, I don't know I don't know if Bree's doing anything now or if she's just sitting at home happily retired. But right now, she's the only member of the Bella family that's not doing anything. Because Brie Bella has left the wrestling business. She retired after WrestleMania. I don't know. I can't remember if it was this year's WrestleMania or last. It was last year's WrestleMania was when she finally retired. Was it this year? I think it was this year. Yeah. Anyway, Brie Bella is retired. She's gone now. Nikki, on the other hand, is still wrestling. She's back in the business because she doesn't want to leave. Brie did because now she wants to be a mom. Daniel Bryan is still working because he's now a general manager. He's just not wrestling anymore. So now he's a GM doing his thing with that. And John Cena's still wrestling. He's just taking time off to film American Grit. And, you know, John Laurinaitis, I don't know what the hell he's doing. I know he's not working for WWE anymore. And of course he's married to the Bella's mother. So that's that. So this is a lot of scenarios that are going on around here. So to call Daniel Bryan a trophy husband was fucking stupid. Alexa Bliss should have just kept it on the women she's facing. Carmella doing her thing, trying to somewhat make herself seem like a heel. And she's good at playing a heel because at one point she was a heel a little bit in NXT. In fact, she was the only one that would get booed when she came out with Enzo and Cass. But eventually they slowly turned her face. But now they've got her back on the main roster by herself away from Enzo and Cass. So now she's being a heel there. So we've got this six-pack women's challenge. I like the fact that the Prince of Staten Island, the Queen of Hearts, blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, they said, like, Becky's trying to turn back against her. Becky's like, no. Becky was kind of, comedic with that going, oh, no, not at all. Drops the microphone. I thought that was pretty funny. I didn't see it as cowardice. I saw it as comedic. So there's a difference. And then, of course, Nikki came out to even up the odds with Naomi. And I'm going to be intrigued to see what happens in this six-pack challenge. I have no idea. Ideally, I'm going to be honest. You guys know how I feel. I would love to see Naomi win the match. That would be my thing. I feel like she's been denied the women's championship for way too long in her career. There's a part of me that thinks Nikki Bella, though, is going to be the one to win it. I don't see any of the other women winning it except maybe Becky Lynch. But I think Nikki's probably going to win it because she's back from the neck injury and everything, and I see it going in that direction. All I know is, out of all the women there, I'm trying to think who I would not want to see win that championship, and I can't really think of one, except maybe Carmella and Alexa Bliss. I don't think are ready to be women's champions just yet. In fact, I still think they should be down in NXT right now, fighting for the NXT Women's Championship. So I'm not even So I don't think either one of them should win the title right now. But if they did, I wouldn't complain too much. I'm just saying if I had to choose who I would not want to win, it would be either one of those two. I want Naomi to win, but I'm thinking Nikki Bella or Becky Lynch. I don't know which one I'm going to pick in the prediction competition, but I think either one of them is going to walk out the women's champion. And on that note, after the brawl breaks out, to even things up, the babyface women stand tall. The heel women are outside the ring. We're going to see a 6-person tag match, which is pretty much going to be a somewhat of a rematch from SummerSlam. But then we cut to the backstage area where Dean Ambrose is hanging out and catering, and he meets some random guy backstage, and they start talking about coffee. And, well, here's what happens.
Oh, God, how do you guys drink that stuff? Hold on. So we'll trade chicken here. How we doing? All right, come on with the better. Give that shot. You're welcome.
All right. Well, I guess the number one question we need to ask Dean Ambrose is, does he take coffee with his sugar? Because that's a lot of damn sugar to put in a coffee. But I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm all for the sugar rush. You know, I don't mind, you know, the occasional sugar rush, but in all honesty, that's a bit harsh. It's a little crazy, little crazy to be pouring that much sugar in a coffee. But I guess that's just Dean Ambrose screwing around, hanging out, and I guess it doesn't really serve any purpose on SmackDown, but I just thought it was pretty funny, so I played it. You know, to see Dean Ambrose get a little crazy in the catering. And on that note, we'll cut to another section of the backstage area where we see Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan kind of having a chat, mostly about what went down in the ring with the women's segment, when all of a sudden the Miz shows up again. And here's what goes down.
Maybe next time you can handle the SmackDown women's crew. I mean, that's got GM written all over it. I wouldn't take that away from you. The women's six women's championship tonight. The tag. It's gonna be explosive. Yeah. Let me get this straight. I come off my vacation from my own private island in Exuma, and all you two are worrying about is the women's title instead of worrying about the most important title on SmackDown Live, the Intercontinental Championship. On top of that, I have to defend this against someone who didn't earn the right to be number one contender. I have to defend this against a loser like Dolph Ziggler at Backlash. You just can't get over what I said to you, can you, Dan? You see, unlike you, Miz, the 6 women who were just out there, they were willing to fight. And despite you calling Dolph Ziggler a loser, when he wanted to fight you last week, you walked away. So what does that make you? And regardless whether you want the match at Backlash or not, you're having that match. And if you don't want it, well, you can just hand over that title right now. So here comes the Intercontinental Champion, the A-lister, the Miz. Coming with a beautiful rivalry.
Well, I guess it's safe to say that the Miz has decided, all right, I don't want to forfeit the Intercontinental title, so I guess I'll have the match with Dolph Ziggler this Sunday at Backlash. And that was him walking out to the ring to face Apollo Crews, which I'm going to get into that in just a minute, but I'll just talk about this segment real quick. I like the fact that Daniel Bryan and that the Miz is saying that, I come back from vacation and all you're talking about is the women's title match. And it's like, well, unlike you, Miz, the women actually fight. Which to me is the best line there. The Miz thinks that being Intercontinental Champion and holding the belt makes the title prestigious. The Miz doesn't understand. His name is not popular enough to make that title important. The Miz is a worthless piece of shit. He's been a worthless piece of shit since he first stepped foot in WWE. There is nothing special about The Miz. No one gives a shit about him. And with a roster stacked with amazing wrestlers, I still can't believe this worthless piece of shit still has a job. It mind boggles me. We don't need The Miz anymore. He serves no purpose. He draws no money. No one gives a shit about him. Nobody. This is a talent that would not be missed if you released him. If anything, it would set the WWE Universe free to never have The Miz on their roster again. And just how badly I wanted Dolph Ziggler to become the WWE World Champion, I want him to be Intercontinental Champion just as much. Usually if Ziggler goes for the Intercontinental title, I get disappointed because I feel like he's been Intercontinental Champion too many times. But in this case, I will make the exception to get the belt off this stupid, untalented prima donna known as The Miz. And I loved the segment when Daniel Bryan just put him in his place. He went out to the ring to wrestle Apollo Crews. This match sucked. It did. It sucked the gay out of Liberace's anus through a bendy straw. This was a terrible, terrible, terrible match. The only good thing that happened in this match was when Apollo Crews hit a moonsault off the ring apron. Oh, no, he hit a moonsault off the damn barricade where the fans were and got The Miz on the outside as they headed to break. No, actually, no, it was on the ring apron. I take it back. I'm trying to remember now. Sorry. But anyway, the match was lackluster at best. Apollo Crews had a great match, but had to deal with The Miz, which is almost impossible. And then Miz eventually comes out. Miz appears to rake the eyes of Apollo Crews as Miz rolls out of the ring. He slaps Ziggler ringside. Crews goes for a baseball slide, nearly hits Ziggler. Miz shoves Crews into Ziggler, then pushes Crews into the ring post. They get back in the ring. He hits the skull-crushing finale. He can barely get his hands over the guy's head. And then 1, 2, 3, the winner of the match, The Miz. Which, again, is disgusting. I'm sorry. I have a hard time believing The Miz can beat Apollo Crews. This makes Apollo Crews look like a joke. And it's building up The Miz when no one gives a shit about him. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about The Miz. No one gives a flying fuck about this guy. And the more you push him, the more you embarrass the roster and the more you insult the fans. By giving the Intercontinental title to the most untalented wrestler in the WWE. This match absolutely made me sick to my stomach. 1,000%. I was disappointed in this match. It pissed me off. Severely. Now, of course, after the match, Dolph Ziggler grabs the Intercontinental title because Miz rolled out of the ring after his victory. And he throws it on the mat, daring the Miz to get in the ring. He does the thing where you lay the belt down at your feet And that's the open invitation for whoever you're facing to step in and try to take it from you. It's a customary move in professional wrestling. And then The Miz whispers something to Maurice. Maurice gets inside the ring, grabs the title, and Ziggler yells, "Are you kidding me?" and calls him a coward. He tells Miz that Maurice won't be able to help him this Sunday. Miz grabs the title and holds it up. Now, of course, Ziggler's laughing because he's not going to attack Maurice. So he just kind of laughs it off like, oh my God. Now, I will give The Miz credit. That was a good heel tactic. I like that. The mind games leading up to Sunday. But I still don't like him. And I still think this match between him and Apollo Crews was garbage. It made me sick at SummerSlam, and it makes me sick now to see that. That was the most... I cannot believe they're treating Apollo Crews this way. A man as talented as him has to job to someone as untalented as The Miz. Makes me sick. And there's no logic behind this. None. It's stupid, it's pathetic, and again, it's a joke. It's a fucking joke that's not funny. And as a comedian, I am a very big expert on knowing what jokes are and are not funny. And on that note, we cut to the backstage area where Renee Young is with AJ Styles. And they're basically talking about, the moment last week on Raw when AJ Styles got crouched on the ropes during his main event match. And Renee Young wants to talk about it. But apparently, AJ Styles is not in the mood to talk about it and actually gets offended when the video is shown.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my guest. He calls himself the face that runs the place, AJ Styles. AJ, last week things didn't exactly go as planned for you to cross paths with the WWE World Champion Dean Ambrose. Let's take a look.
Last week, Smackdown Live main event, the champion battling very close. Yeah, when you got an unorthodox champion, you have the champion doing unorthodox things. And that's exactly what happened. And AJ well, Ambrose scrambled his eggs. What's funny? It was funny.
And the match is heading in tonight face to face with Dean Ambrose. He must have some pretty harsh words for the champion.
Did you give her that footage? Was it you? Get over here. Get over here. Over here. You think that was funny? Did you? No, these look pretty expensive. I bet if I threw these on the ground and broke them into a million pieces, and then blamed you, you would get fired. Got a family? Do you? Yeah. Well, if you got fired, do you think they would think this is funny? Huh? Do you think they think it is funny? No! Get out of here.
Well, obviously AJ Styles clearly has no sense of humor. He's obviously not happy with the fact that the footage got shown. He's pissed off. He's angry. He pretty much storms out and gets very, very frustrated. And, in my opinion, AJ Styles is just oozing arrogance. And what I like about it is it's feeding more into AJ Styles being a heel. He's really getting into the heel-like tactic. He's really bragging about being the face that runs the place, and it's become a very helpful scenario for him since he beat John Cena and is going for the world title this Sunday at Backlash. And overall, I thought it was just a great segment, and it really helped to benefit AJ Styles a great deal. I think this was helpful in solidifying him as a heel, or continuing to solidify himself as a heel. And on that note, we cut to the next segment here where we find out that one of the semifinal matches taking place for the tag team title tournament is American Alpha versus the Usos. Well, we take a special look at American Alpha, who are determined to become the Smackdown Tag Team Champions.
American Alpha dropping the gauntlet, lighting a fire under the Smackdown Live Tag Team division, and these two upstarts looking to become inaugural Smackdown Tag Team Champions. American Alpha advances to the semifinals.
American Alpha is striving to be the best tag team and revolutionize tag team wrestling.
Hard-hitting tag team action. What you gotta love about American Alpha is they've raised the game of the entire tag team division.
When they look and they realize that tag team wrestling is the coolest thing ever, which we're going to make it, they're going to say American Alpha is the one that started that.
American Alpha carry a lot of momentum into the semifinals of the inaugural SmackDown Tag Team Championship Tournament.
Because we're ready, willing, and able.
Ready, willing, Gable. I love American Alpha. I love that they were definitely one of the most popular tag teams in NXT. They're former NXT tag team champions. So to see them become the SmackDown tag team champions would be great. I think as SmackDown tag team champions, they would definitely be a good sign of changes and things to come in the tag team division, and they are definitely popular enough that at this stage they could very well win those belts. So I definitely would love to see American Alpha as the SmackDown tag team champions. I think they would do a hell of a job. And on that note, we cut to the backstage area with the opponents of American Alpha, the Usos, who are warming up until they get approached for an interview about the match. And here's what the Usos have to say about stepping into the ring with American Alpha.
I'm about to turn it up all the way up. I'm talking about all the
Jimmy, Jay.
What's up, Charlie?
Later tonight, we will face American Alpha in the semifinals of the Tag Team Championship Tournament.
Check this out. Two-time WWE Tag Team Champs. We won the Slammy Award for Tag Team of the Year back-to-back. But we will never lose sight of what competition is. No, Chad and Jordan deserve to be on SmackDown Live. If my math is correct, they was picked 9 spots before the Usos in the draft, which makes them the favorite. And nothing but respect for these young brothers. But we're still going to let them know that the Usos still run this tag team division. And the SmackDown Tag Team Championship line starts behind the... Go!
Well, I guess it's safe to say the Usos are very excited about the match. And obviously they have respect for American Alpha, but they want to show that they run this division because it's true. They are 2-time WWE Tag Team Champions. They are back-to-back Slammy Award winners, even though last year they did not deserve the Slammy Award for Tag Team of the Year because they barely wrestled as a team that whole goddamn year. So they definitely did not deserve that spot. They were undeserving of that spot. I will defend that for the rest of my life, that the Usos did not deserve to be Tag Team of the Year for 2015. Not because they suck, but because they, weren't a tag team for most of the year. And I'm a fan of the Usos. And they definitely are the top tag team in the division. Or they were at one point. They're definitely one of the best tag teams in WWE right now. Just on their resume alone. Not just the fact that they're 2-time tag team champions, but the fact that they've beaten legendary teams like the New Age Outlaws to win those titles. So the Usos have gotten a huge push in their careers and are very deserving of the spot they are in as top tag team. Now, obviously, the New Day is also one of the top tag teams in the division because they have, they've held the tag team titles for over a year, and they will of course be defending them in 3 weeks at Clash of the Champions. We are definitely going to see that match against Gallows and Anderson, but the Usos either way are very deserving of being tag team champions. They have proven themselves time and time again that they are deserving of that spot, and they're deserving of the opportunity to be tag team champions. And, the Usos being the SmackDown tag team champions is not necessarily the worst thing in the world. I would not see it as a step back for the tag team division at all if the Usos won it. I think the Usos would help bring legitimacy to those tag team belts because of the resume they have. It would make them 3-time tag team champions and would prove that they are indeed one of the best teams on the planet. At the same time, if American Alpha can knock them off and get to that spot, then everything will work out great. And I see with the time that we got left here, the live portion of the show is coming to an end. I want you guys to know I'll be finishing the SmackDown recap after we go off the air. So you can fast forward to this point to check out on the archives. You can fast forward to this point to see what the rest is going on. So that way you don't have to waste time listening to the whole thing over again. You'll be able to fast forward to this point. I'll be back tomorrow with Lucha Underground Season 3 premiere. I'll also be talking about the Cruiserweight Classic. I'll be talking about NXT. And hopefully Lance Goodman, the NFL exporter, will be on the show as well. So I will talk to the live Blog Talk Radio listeners tomorrow. Like I said, you can fast forward to this point to hear the rest of SmackDown Live. All right, I just want to do that for the live Blog Talk Radio listeners real quick. Those of you that are on YouTube, you're still going live, and we're still going strong over here. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to move on to the next segment here, which is, of course, Bray Wyatt. We cut to the backstage area with Bray Wyatt sitting in a rocking chair, and obviously he's going to be facing Randy Orton this Sunday at Backlash. And here's what the Eater of Worlds has to say to the Apex Predator.
Man had to fight for everything just to survive. Picture this. Man that spent his hours scouring the woods, searching for food just so he could see the next day. But in those same woods, there lurked another creature. An alpha. An apex predator. Both have the same mentality. Survival. But the predator, he had nothing to fear. The predator had no morality. He had no conscience. The predator spent his days terrorizing men, ripping them limb from limb, turning man's flesh to a meal. Survival of the fittest. But in time, mankind would evolve. Mankind learned to adapt, to build, to create. And sooner or later, this once great predator became nothing more than plaything. And history repeats itself, Randy. You are no longer the great predator that you once were. I am the evolution of man. I am a god, Randy. And the weapon that I hold is far greater than anything you can wield with a hand. Here, Randy. It's right there. And it's something that you cannot compete with. It is something that you will learn to fear. At backlash, predator becomes prey. And all that will be left of you are chunks of meat stuck to the teeth of the eater of world. Run.
Now that right there is the Bray Wyatt we all know, love, and respect. Bray Wyatt is a tremendous talent. Bray Wyatt is awesome. Even though he never wins a lot of rivalries, even though he gets his ass kicked a lot, his promo skills are still great, amazing, and epic. He is still one of the best talkers in the WWE right now. And to see him and Randy Orton finally lock up is going to be a sight to see when they step in the ring at Backlash this Sunday. It's going to be amazing. What happens? I love it. He's in the rocking chair, never leaves the rocking chair, tells this amazing story because Bray Wyatt is a great storyteller. He knows how to keep things exciting, interesting, and grab everyone's attention. He does a hell of a job. He truly is a tremendous talent. And I see no one better. No one better. I would love, he is. Bray Wyatt is amazing. And I look forward to this match between him and Orton this Sunday. And on that note, we're going to move on to the next match of the evening, the 6-women tag team match. Nikki Bella, Becky Lynch, and Naomi versus Natalya, Alexa Bliss, and Carmella. Now, Naomi, Alexa Bliss start off the match. I love the fact Naomi does a series of kicks and then a big kick that drops Alexa Bliss, which shows that Naomi during her time away has definitely improved upon her moveset. Naomi hits a waistlock takedown. Carmella starts spanking her, which I love, plays the mind games a little bit. Plus, even though the thing you gotta know is obviously we want to see women who are great wrestlers, but every now and then you gotta do a spank or a spank or two or something like that. Because at the end of the day, we are men, and we do like to see women who are attractive. So there's no shame in that. And we return, and then of course, there's a tag made in Nikki Bella. All I gotta say is great. These women all did amazing in this match. What was interesting was the fact that we had to see basically all these women have amazing chemistry with one another before it becomes every woman for herself this Sunday. And all the women did a hell of a job. All of them show that they have great chemistry with each other and can work together. And then, of course, in the end, the whole match is with Carmella and Nikki standing in the ring, or in the ring after everybody gets sent to the outside with multiple springboard kicks, jawbreakers, suicide dives to the outside. And then Carmella locks in the code of silence submission around the neck of Nikki. Nikki tries to hold out, but is forced to tap out. And the winners of the match are Natalya, Alexa Bliss, and Carmella. Now, obviously, this is a push for Carmella, and I actually understand why Nikki tapped out. Obviously, because the code of silence submission is where she wraps the legs around the neck and pulls it up. It's obviously going to be a painful move because Nikki Bella just got back from neck surgery. Plus, it's wise to tap out now so that you don't put as much strain on your neck so you can fight for the championship this Sunday. So there's really no shame in tapping out in a 6-women tag match on SmackDown. All she has to do now is if she locks it in, she can't tap out at Backlash. So I don't mind seeing a tap out tonight, but there should be no tap out at Backlash unless Carmella does some serious shit to Nikki's neck. Like storyline wise, that would put emphasis and pain on the neck. Then I could see maybe a tap out. But other than that, there should be no tap out at Backlash this Sunday. And again, I don't know who's going to win this match. It is way up in the air. I think it's going to be either Nikki Bella or Becky Lynch. Personally, if it was up to me, Naomi would win. And that's just how I feel. And it's not just because they're baby faces. Naomi is somebody I want to win. I've wanted to be women's champion for a long time. You all know that. My loyal listeners, you know that. And Nikki Bella and Becky Lynch, I'm saying will win because I just feel like either one of them can win it. Because Nikki Bella just came back from neck surgery. And it could, like I said, bring legitimacy to the women's title. Because Nikki Bella is a former, Divas champion. And was a hell of a job as champion. She was the longest reigning Divas champion, I believe. And Becky Lynch has been, on the cusp of being women's champion so many times in the past. I feel like it would be a feel-good babyface moment if she was to win the championships. That's why I feel like it could go to either one of them. If you want my honest opinion, which I assume that you do, because I just see that as something that can be, legit. And anyway, let me just take a look here. Yeah. So either way, I see a great women's match happening this Sunday, and anything can happen. And on that note, we're going to move on to the next match here, which is one of the semifinals of the tag team tournament to see who will face off in the finals at Backlash. We have the Usos versus American Alpha. Holy shit. This was weird. Basically, the Usos and American Alpha shake hands in the middle of the ring. As the bell rings, the Usos attack Chad Gable and Jason Jordan immediately. Jordan eats a quick Samoan drop. The finish literally happened so fast, I nearly missed as all of a sudden, Jason Jordan gets up, counters, tags in Chad Gable. They hit the grand amplitude on Jimmy after dumping Jay out of the ring. And 1, 2, 3, the winners of the match, American Alpha. Literally in the span of 2 minutes, American Alpha defeated the Usos to go on to the finals. And then after the match, you can see the Usos looking like, oh my God, I can't believe that. And then they go and extend their hands to American Alpha. And then as they're shaking hands, all of a sudden, the Usos attack Gable and Jordan for real, like legit this time. And then the Usos launch Jordan right into the steel ring post. Jey Uso with a jumping kick to the lower ankle of Gable. Jimmy goes up top as Jey holds Gable, and Jimmy drops down and does a splash over the leg ankle of Gable. The Usos jump out of the ring and stare down American Alpha as Jason Jordan checks on the injured Chad Gable. And it looks like American Alpha is seriously hurt. Basically they talk about how we're going to see an update on their condition. So Chad Gable now has a seriously injured, MCL. It basically sprained his MCL. So now they have to get him checked out by the doctors to see if he's going to be medically cleared to fight in the finals at Backlash, but the Usos pretty much unexpectedly attacked American Alpha. Obviously, the Usos seem to be going for a heel turn here, which is interesting. Now, the Usos have been heels before, but it was very, very brief period of time. They've been a babyface forever. Babyfaces forever. So to see them turn heel is amazing, and it'll be intriguing to see what the Usos are going to do as heels. Are they gonna? Is there going to be a whole new entrance for them? Are they still going to come out to the face paint? What are they going to do as heels going forward? That's going to be intriguing. And on that note, we cut to the backstage area where we see Randy Orton being approached for an interview. Obviously, Bray Wyatt made some comments earlier tonight, told a hell of a story. Well, Randy Orton decides to tell a story of his own in response to Bray Wyatt.
Randy, earlier tonight in versus Bray Wyatt, he said that you are no longer the Predator and he is. How does this change your strategy going into your match with Bray at this Flash?
Bray likes telling stories, doesn't he? Let me see if I can speak his language. Once upon a time, there was a man who lived in the log, hadn't eaten in days. He knew as he endured the cold, harsh winter climate that he was going to have to find himself some food or he was going to die. So he comes across a rabbit at a distance. Young unslung his rifle, took a shot, killed the rabbit. As he's approaching his new meal, he sees just off to the side a snake lying there, waiting. See, the snake and the man both wanted that rabbit, but only one could have it. So the man took a step, and then another, and he looked at the snake, and the snake didn't move. So the man took another step, and another step, all the while looking at the snake, waiting for him to strike. But he didn't. So the man, satisfied, squatted down over his fresh kill. And as he did, he glanced back at the snake one last time to remember what he'd been told as a kid, and that's that snakes will always be more scared of you than you are of them. So he picked up his prize. And he took off, and as his first step hit the cold, hard, frozen ground, that's when the snake struck. You see, Charlie, the snake never stopped wanting that rabbit. But when he saw the man, he knew he could have them both. He just had to lie there, patiently waiting for the man's overconfidence to be his undoing. So, to answer your question, I'll be waiting patiently for Bray Wyatt at Backlash. And at Backlash, Bray Wyatt won't know what hit him.
Wow. Well, let me just say this. Randy Orton, that man right there is a hell of a storyteller. Well done, Randy Orton. Liked it, loved it. Definitely was something that got you into the mindset of Randy Orton to let him know when Bray Wyatt least expects it, I'll strike and I'll win. So Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt, both great at mind games, both great at promo cutting and storytelling. And, you know, Orton wasn't always great at promos, but he's gotten so much better over the years. It's insane. And I definitely respect the talent, the type of talent that he is. And like I said before, and I'll say it again, I look forward to Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt this coming Sunday because I know a lot of good is going to come out of this match. It's going to be great. The promos alone are building up to one hell of a fight. No doubt about it. And on that note, we cut back to the ring where we see Fandango in the ring. And he wants to quiet the crowd because He's all by himself. There's no Tyler Breeze. And he's about to explain why. So here's what Fandango has to say about his tag team partner being absent.
Gentlemen and ladies, unfortunately, my tag team partner, Tyler Breeze, couldn't be here tonight. He's in Dubai seeking the finest silks for our upcoming fashion line. But luckily for you peasants, I have found somebody to tango with Fandango. Milady. It's okay. What is your name, milady?
Betty.
I noticed you have tattoos. Very dangerous. I like that. What does this mean?
I like nature.
Nature's cool, but let me tell you a little something about dancing. Let's see if your hips are as wild as your tattoos are. Now follow my lead. Maestro! Enough! No! Your hips aren't wild. Your hips are full of lies. You're a liar. You're a liar.
These hips are the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Be gone with you. Now are there any corn husking hillbillies here tonight with the passion of dance, the fire in the belly? Anybody? No. A big old fiery red dancing machine. Look at you. Oh, yeah, I want to feel that fire. I want to feel it in your belly. All that fire in your belly. I want to dance. You want to dance? Thank you for that. He's been doing that for 20 years, Barlow. Yes, the big red machine just subjected Fandango to a dance of destruction. Don't make Red dance now. Hold up, Nebraska. These things are for you, Barlow. There's always something that we're taking. Poor Fandango.
Oh, well, that was a very well done segment by Fandango. I like that. Like he got a girl to dance in the rain, older woman with tattoos named Betty, I think her name was. And she says that, you know, obviously he says that the girl can't dance. She was pretty hot, you know, and then she said her head's the truth, Fandango can handle the truth. The woman leaves the ring. Then, of course, Kane comes out. He's not doing any dancing. All he does is choke slam Fandango. Then he does a brief little moment of Fandangoing, and then he kind of leaves the ring. I like that. Kane doing a little bit of Fandangoing after choke slamming Fandango. And what I like about this is that I think there's something new with Kane now. I think Kane's just going to come out and choke slam people who say or do stupid things. I think it's going to be their equivalent to like the Raw squash matches that they're having with Nia Jax and Braun Strowman. Every week, someone's going to come out and say or do something stupid, and then Kane's going to come out, hit him with a choke slam. Mostly because I don't see them doing anything with Kane going forward. which is kind of ridiculous. I would like I said before, and I'll say it again. Kane could go one more time as the world champion. I really do believe that. I think Demon Kane should have one last reign as world champion, give him a real good run, let him put somebody over, and then he could ride off into the sunset after that, if he so desires. Because I know Kane is thinking about possibly leaving WWE in a few years because he has considered the possibility of running for politics, of entering the world of politics, because he is a very political person, despite what he portrays on TV. So we could see what happens there. Makes perfect sense to me. And then, you know, I thought the older woman in the ring did a hell of a job. Fandango obviously having issues. Now, he says Tyler Breeze is out buying silk for their clothing line, but I don't know what the real reason is that Tyler Breeze isn't there. I don't know if they just gave him the day off. I don't know if he obviously hasn't been suspended because that would have been all over the news, all over social media. If so he obviously didn't violate the wellness policy. I don't know what the deal is with Tyler Breeze, why he isn't there, but hopefully he'll be back next week, and him and Fandango can get back to being Breezango and, you know, doing what they do. And on that note, we cut to the backstage area with AJ Styles walking by some WWE staff, and apparently some people start taking pictures of him, and he gets kind of pissed off. And here's basically how that went down.
You guys take a picture of me? Give it to me. Picture of my family. No, that is a picture of your family. That's for the family. Thank you. Now, here you go. You guys know who I am. I'm the face that runs the place. And this is how you treat me? I'm carrying this company on my shoulders. Phone's broken. Why don't you go pick it up?
Okay, first of all, I love the fact that AJ Styles is saying, I'm carrying this company on my shoulders. It's like, dude, you beat John Cena maybe 2-3 weeks ago, and he's already acting like he's been carrying this company since he fucking got here back in January, which I thought was kind of goddamn ridiculous. Now, don't get me wrong, I like the new AJ Styles, but I felt that picture segment was just unnecessary. Throwing the guy's phone across the wall and all that. That was just an unnecessary segment. What did this really accomplish? Nothing. It did nothing. Basically, it's showing AJ Styles as an asshole. We've already established that. AJ Styles has acted like an asshole since he beat John Cena. We don't need any more confirmation of AJ Styles being an asshole. We've already established that. It's really just a waste of everyone's time. That was a stupid segment that didn't need to air. It really did nothing. Nothing at all. And on that note, we'll move on to the next match of the evening, the other semifinal match in the tag team title tournament, with the winning team to face American Alpha in the finals, assuming that Chad Gable is all right. So we get the Hype Bros versus Heath Slater and Rhino. We see a slew of Slater's kids sitting in the front row, including plenty of redheads. I don't know if I'm seriously going to doubt those are his real kids. I bet they're just plants in the audience, but either way, they did one hell of a casting call. I'd be intrigued to find out if they're actual redheads or if some of them had their hair dyed. I would like to find that out. I would like to see that, if that is the case. And so the bell rings, the match kicks off, and these guys had a hell of a tag team match. The Hype Bros have amazing chemistry together. Zack Ryder drop kicking Heath Slater through the ropes. You got Ryder and Slater, two people that have been severely mistreated by management. You got Rhino, who's there for the ride, and Mojo Rawley, who's still trying to make a name for himself in the WWE. But either way, you find out the amazing chemistry of each team. Heath Slater and Rhino establishing themselves, proving that they're a legit tag team. Rhino pulls Slater out of the way to avoid a broski boot. Rhino tags himself in, fires him up for the gore, hits Zack Ryder with the gore. 1, 2, 3. The winners of the match, Heath Slater and Rhino. After the match, Slater celebrates with his kids at ringside, and then him and Rhino kind of shake hands and establish the fact that they are now a legit tag team, legit friends, and they celebrate as they're going on to the finals to face American Alpha. And this is going to be a tough one, I'll be very honest, because as much as I like this segment here, I know as much as I like American Alpha, I honestly think that Heath Slater and Rhino are going to win the tag team belts. I think Heath Slater and Rhino will be the SmackDown tag team champions. That way Heath Slater can get a contract in WWE. I also think that with Rhino being a politician now, I think they're going to try to, promote his political side a little bit more by having him be a champion on SmackDown. And because he's a tag team champion, he can show, hey, I'm a politician who works well with others. And I think that that's what they're going to be going for, as well as giving Heath Slater a contract in WWE because he has to win the tournament to get a SmackDown contract. So I do believe Slater and Rhino are going to win it. I'm calling it right now. And they'll be facing American Alpha, which is going to be a hell of a tag team match in the finals. However, there's still a possibility that American Alpha might not make it. Because after this match, we cut to the backstage area with Renee Young, who has something to say about American Alpha, but also gets approached by the Usos, and we get to find out why the Usos did what they did. Check this out.
Ladies and gentlemen, we just was informed that Shane McMahon was told that the American Alpha status heading into Backlash right now is questionable. However, Shane McMahon will be joining Daniel Bryan and myself tonight on Talking Smack to give us more of an update on what's going on with American Alpha.
Yes, I mean, it felt a little bit different around here. It just came out. It was bottled up, frustrated. I don't know if it came out right. I don't know if it came out wrong. It came out our way, Renee. It came out the Usos' way. And the Alpha man, that American Alpha, whatever they call it, man, happen to be at the wrong place, man, at the wrong time. But you know what? We come in and day out. We put our bodies on the line for the WWE Universe. And guess what they do? They turn their back on the Usos. Because as soon as American Alpha come out, you love them. You like the hoot and holler for them. You like the cheers, yes. And we got a brand new team in here. This is a problem for us. For 6 years, we've been busting ass, trying to get respect. Guess what? We're done with that.
Wow. So the Usos are sick and tired of being disrespected by the fans. And a lot of people have been saying online that Roman Reigns should take notes because they're dying to see Roman Reigns finally turn heel. Well, I believe if the Usos are capable of turning heel, Roman Reigns is as well. Whether or not he does it now anytime soon remains to be seen. But the Usos, holy shit, they just pulled off one hell of a match right there. I'm impressed with the Usos. I can't believe what we just seen. I can't believe what we just witnessed. The Usos kicking ass, taking names, and now are done being nice to the fans. So now we're going to see them become great heels. I see the Usos doing a hell of a job as heels. You can see the anger and bitterness that they're bringing out, and it's amazing. I'm excited to see what the Usos are going to bring to the table as heels. Now, I like the Usos as baby faces. I did. If they could have remained baby faces, and I would still be fine with the Usos. But now that they're going for a legit heel turn, it's going to be great to see how they pull it off. I want to see how it unfolds. It's got my attention. We'll see if they do well as heels or if they're better off as baby faces. We're going to find out. But it makes perfect sense because the fans have been kind of turning on them, especially during that brief period of time where they align with Roman Reigns as the bloodline. The Usos are getting a lot of disrespect just for being part of the Anonai family. So the Usos have a chance to turn themselves around. And I look forward to seeing how they pull it off. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we will now move on to the final segment of SmackDown, a face-to-face confrontation between the Lunatic Fringe, Dean Ambrose, and the face that runs the place, the phenomenal AJ Styles. And these guys go face-to-face in the ring, a final confrontation before Backlash. And here's what these men have to say to each other before they clash in the main event.
The WWE World Champion, Dean Ambrose. And his challenger, AJ Styles.
Charlie's doing a great job, but do me a favor. I sense that things might get a little ugly here, and we all know that AJ Styles gets nervous around beautiful women, so it's no problem with you. We'll just take it from here.
Oh, okay.
You don't want him getting jumpy or anything. Oh, you're doing well. AJ, let me just start off by giving you a gift. I brought you a gift. I can see how you're big into trophies, so I got you this. Open it for me to you. I put a lot of thought into it. What is It's an old bowling trophy of mine. I didn't win or anything. It's actually just a participation trophy. And I just kind of felt bad for you, and I wanted you to have it because here's the thing. That's the only trophy you're ever going to get from me. You think this is a joke, don't you? Everything's a joke to you, right? Here's the thing. You have no idea who you're dealing with. Because if you did, you wouldn't make me out to be a joke. Oh, like you looked like a joke last week when this happened? What transpired was we on Smackdown Live when Dean Ambrose battled Baron Corbin. They Styles went to that phenomenal form in a pretty unorthodox counter by an unorthodox champion, Dean Ambrose. And Ambrose was to be a judge more than anything. AJ performance. And that's why they call it Iris, folks.
It's just
You think that was funny?
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, everybody else funny. No, it wasn't funny. You didn't think that was funny? Everybody thought that was funny. I was just trying to give you a high-pitched voice with your soccer mom haircut. I bet you think this is a joke too, don't you? This right here? Huh? You think it's a joke? I got this from the last person I beat. This is my trophy, you see? Unlike this piece of crap, I don't want you to hand me anything. In fact, that trophy over your shoulder will be the one I'm taking from you this Sunday. like I took this from John Cena. I am going to beat you at Backlash. So go ahead, Dean. Make a joke out of me, please. Go ahead. Look through me, look past me, look over me. Do whatever you want to do. I'm a joke. AJ Styles is a joke. But John Cena took me very, very seriously. And I beat him clean right here in the middle of a WWE ring. And come on, Dean, let's be honest. You're not John Cena. You're damn right I'm not John Cena. Nothing against John, but you beat John Cena in a wrestling match. On that night, you were a better wrestler than John Cena, but that's not the game I play. When you're in the ring with me, it's a battlefield. It's my battlefield. I drag guys to places they've never been before. I drag guys underwater where they can't breathe anymore, past their breaking point. If anybody knows that, it ought to be you. Because the only time me and you were ever in the ring together, I beat you. But I'm not walking around here with an AJ Styles jockstrap on my forehead reminding the world that I beat you once before. I'm not looking to the past. I'm looking at the future. I'm looking for this Sunday at Backlash. I get to do it again. I get to drill your head into this canvas like it was a railroad spike, and I get to walk out still WWE World Champion. If you want a trophy, son, you better pick that up. You better take up bowling, because we don't give away trophies around here for the face that comes in place. What Ambrose did for the conclusion of last week's Smackdown Live. Ambrose at the family tree. One wonders how those Styles will go on to the Sports Entertainment Ground Floor. Find out Monday at the Backlash pay-per-view live on WWE.
Wow. Now that was truly a battle of the discs. Dean Ambrose handing AJ Styles a bag with a bowling trophy in it. He eventually breaks it over his knee after hitting Ambrose with a low blow at the end, and then just kind of walks off, declaring that he'll be the world champion. I love that line, the face that comes in second place, and Dean Ambrose with the fast-paced delivery of his promos. Styles making the point that he did beat John Cena, and that's a big deal. To beat John Cena clean in the middle of the ring. Not everybody's done that. There's a small group of people who can honestly say they've done that. And Styles is one of them. So you can't say Cena didn't do right by AJ Styles. And Styles obviously is looking to win this Sunday. And Dean Ambrose reminded that he beat Styles the one time they fought, which is kind of weird because I don't even remember that match. I have to go back in my repertoire and find it again. But Dean Ambrose and AJ Styles, they did great trading back and forth on the mic. Very well done. Of course, the soccer mom look is still being portrayed, even to this day. You know, and of course, you know, everything was great. When he said he crouched him on the top rope, he said, he said that I just want to give you a high-pitched voice to go with your soccer mom haircut. And the fact that the crowd started chanting soccer mom was funny as hell. And overall, the closing segment was very well done. Two men, great on the mic, great in the ring. This is going to be a great main event match this Sunday. I truly believe that AJ Styles is walking out the world champion. And I believe that he should. Nothing against Dean Ambrose. I just believe that because Styles beat John Cena at SummerSlam, and because that was the only good thing about SummerSlam was the actual match between him and John Cena, while every other match was hot garbage. Styles, for that reward, since he pretty much carried a 4-hour show deserves to be the WWE World Champion. Dean and Dolph Ziggler got nothing out of that crowd. And the guy who should have won didn't. So Dean Ambrose right now is not doing anything as world champion, and I believe the belt belongs with AJ Styles. AJ Styles should be walking out of Backlash the world champion. He should be the face that runs the place. He doesn't need a Dean Ambrose trophy, just walks around with the belt. He can keep the John Cena sweatband on too. The headband, armband, whatever the fuck it's called on him. But ultimately, that's what needs to happen this Sunday. AJ Styles needs to walk out of Backlash WWE World Champion. And of course, we'll have to find out by seeing Backlash this Sunday. And I definitely plan to see it this Sunday. I'll be at Frank's apartment. And you can rest assured on Monday, I'll be recapping the show. All right, and on that note, ladies and gentlemen, that will conclude the SmackDown Live recap. However, how I feel about this is normally I end the show right here, but I don't normally bring up anything from Talking Smack. But in this case, I'm going to make an exception because as we mentioned before, Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan were going to make an announcement regarding the condition of Chad Gable going into Backlash. Well, here it is. Shane and Daniel talking about American Alpha.
A lot of stuff happened tonight with the American Alpha. Yeah, and actually, unfortunately, we just got the report back. Chad Gable is going to be out 2 to 4 weeks. Non-surgery. It's an MCL sprain, so immediate. The ligament on the inside of the knee. So we have some quick thinking to do. Unfortunately, that means that American Alpha is out from this Sunday's Backlash.
How does that affect you two? I mean, I know talking to Brian, having him on the show.
His face.
I know, because the whole time he's been talking about how much he loves American Alpha and how he thinks they're such a great tech.
Wait,
like,
you were talking about I have a man crush on American Alpha.
Is it not true?
Is
it not a little true?
Just because Chad Gable was like an Olympic competitor in wrestling, in Greco-Roman wrestling, and I think that's really cool. And like, I don't know, and Jason Jordan's awesome too, and they just do these, like, they're making tag team wrestling cool again. It's not a man crush.
Well, now we have the official answer. American Alpha is out of the competition, so it looks like they made the announcement on WWE.com, actually on their Twitter page. It said, instead, what we're going to see at Backlash is another semifinal match. The Hype Bros are going to go one-on-one against the Usos, and whoever wins that match will face Heath Slater and Rhino on the same night to become the new tag team champions. So Heath Slater and Rhino are already going to the finals, and the Hype Bros are going to get a second chance to make it as they go up against the Usos. So they're going to make the Usos, despite the fact that they caused all this, they're going to make the Usos try to earn their right to face off against the Hype Bros. So this is my prediction. I think the Usos are going to beat the Hype Bros. They're going to do a heel-like tactic to win. And then they're going to face Heath Slater and Rhino. And then Slater and Rhino are going to beat the Usos. And they're going to become the tag team champions. Since the Hype Bros already fought Slater and Rhino on SmackDown. And that's what I predict is going to happen. So this is going to be – and then, of course, when American Alpha makes a return, it's a sprain, not an injury. So he's not going to be – needing surgery. They're just taking time off. And I think when American Alpha comes back, they're going to get into a feud and a rivalry with the Usos. Now, if the Usos somehow walk out the tag team champions, then obviously I predict that American Alpha will eventually beat the Usos to win the SmackDown tag belts. Now, I don't think the Usos are going to win. I think Slater and Rhino are going to win. But I am offsetting my bets in case whatever happens. There's a lot of different scenarios that can happen. You know, WWE loves to throw curveballs every now and then. It's rare, but they do. All right, and that, ladies and gentlemen, will conclude the recap of SmackDown Live, and it will officially wrap up this episode of the Boochcast for today. I want to thank everybody so much for tuning in live. I want to thank everybody listening to the archives. I want to thank Gator Ricky Ross for his cameo appearance. I look forward to chatting with him Monday on the Boochcast, and I'll be back tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. West Coast time with another fun-filled, action-packed episode of the Boochcast. I'll be recapping the Cruiserweight Classic. I'll be recapping NXT, and I'll be recapping the Season 3 premiere of Lucha Underground. Also, hopefully, I will have the NFL exporter, Lance Goodman, as my guest on the Boochcast. So I'm going to try to follow up with him later today, see if it happens tomorrow. And if it does, it does. If it doesn't, well, then I'll reschedule with him for another day. So until next time, this is Vinny Bucci, a.k.a. The Booch, saying keep on living life and take care. This has been the Boochcast. I'll chat with you guys tomorrow right here on Blog Talk Radio and on YouTube.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.